Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, and with me, as always, my co-host Nick Mason.
Hello, good to be here, James.
What's going on?
Leap.
Oh, okay. We're robots, are we?
Could we sustain it? I think we could.
I don't want to. I mean, you can, but
I don't want to.
But I won't go along with it. I won't veto it. I won't stop you.
Okay, right. So I have to know now if I want to commit to this bit, and I don't.
Great, terrific.
I don't. This is the kind of energy a 6:10 p.m. recording brings to it.
That's right.
We've never recorded at 6:10 p.m. before, probably, to the best of my knowledge.
I can't even imagine doing such a thing.
What an absolute wild west of a recording time. Because normally we either record, I think I've mentioned this, quite early in the day when my brain isn't working, or quite late in the night when your brain isn't working.
And you'll see that evolve over the episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so now this time period is either we're both firing on all cylinders or we're both done.
Let's find out.
Or not even started. Let's do it.
It's good to record early, though, when we're still a bit of sunshine, Mason. But because, of course, it is the spookiest time of the year. And I'm not just talking about tax time.
Go on.
If you don't mind me saying so, for the last time.
Thank you once again for the bit that you do. Let's call it a bit, because I did think about it earlier in the week and do my taxes.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Of course, this is our Hella Scream Spectacular Scary Big Ghost and Spiders Forever episode. Where we go through some spooky stuff. We've picked 3 spooky movies, which we'll be talking about if people do want to jump to the time codes. One of which being
movies, James.
Spooky movies.
I was thinking about this earlier.
What were you thinking?
What
were you thinking, Mason?
I feel like that's going to be my expression of surprise just going forward. Just for anything. Jinkies. Mine's spooky movies, James.
For anything, though.
Yeah, for anything.
Great. I love this. It's better than your robot thing, which was my thing.
That was your thing, yeah.
Great. But in addition to that, Mason, there's a bunch of news this week. It was a big news week, but you had something else to say?
No, I'm gonna road test my catchphrase while we do this. So I hope some of this news is shocking to me.
Okay, great.
And I'll put it in a sentence, obviously.
The Vision might be getting a spin-off.
Spooky movies, James.
Okay.
The Vision's getting a spin-off.
Yeah, okay, so that's the sentence you got to go
with,
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
First, Black Panther Forever reactions. Wakanda Forever reactions.
Spooky movies.
Spooky movies, yep. Trailers ahoy. Big trailers this week for Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special, Ant-Man, and some Doctor Who stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big recast over at The Witcher. Who is it? Who's recast?
The Witcher?
The main person.
Main guy, yeah, sure.
Which is
he has a name, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Geralt of Oblivion or something.
I meant the actor's name. I don't know.
Oh, no. That's the same, isn't it? Star Wars news.
Terrific.
Because there's going to be a new Star Wars movie.
I like it.
Another thing where...
There's going to be a new Star Wars movie in this day and age?
Yeah, but also there's a news of stop announcing Star Wars movies because they're not coming out. You keep announcing Star Wars movies and they keep getting cancelled.
So this announcement of a new Star Wars movie, they have to be pretty confident this
Well, it wasn't... Technically, it's not an announcement because it came via a different source.
Did we get another new Star Wars thing this week?
Yes.
Tales of the Jedi?
I'm going to talk about it in what we're reading because I quite enjoyed it. There's also news on the Green Lantern series and some movements over at DC because they have found their Kevin Feige.
That's right.
So very excited for that, Mason.
Terrific.
And it's 2 people because I guess you need to, Mason. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into it. Time codes below as mentioned. Thank you to Collins for the edit. The Vision. Last time we saw the Vision in WandaVision, he turned into a white guy and then he flew off. And there was another guy who was a construct.
He didn't turn into a white guy. He was always a white guy, Paul Bettany.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean as in it was the white Vision.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, I'm a ship of Theseus, and he flew off or whatever.
That's right.
And then there was the other one who was
I'm the ship of Theseus, later losers. Wow.
And then there's the construct one that Wanda made who got obliterated and whatever.
Maybe I'm the ship of Theseus too.
Wow, I remember that. It was really touching, actually.
Yeah. So many touching lasers.
So Jeff Snyder has said, I'm told that next week Marvel will be opening a writer's room for the Vision show titled Vision Quest. And Deadline are reporting that the series will focus on Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity, and that Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff could appear.
She'll still be crushed under that collapsing temple or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Maybe he'll
just a cut back to it every second episode.
I can't move my hands to do the magic that I need to do.
I could easily escape this if I had hands to use magic.
Been smashed.
Yeah, been smashed real bad.
Like Doctor Strange. Okay. Yeah, there's a parallel. All right. I get it. Doesn't help me, but I get it. What do you think?
Great. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Love it. Thought he was going to appear in the movie, and he didn't. And he's a good character. And I know Paul Bettany loves putting on all that makeup. And then they just CGI over him anyway. I know he
is
loves
true.
that. Yeah.
And in action figure news,
Oh, yeah.
somehow my action figure, somehow my Twitter feed has decided you like looking at new release action figures.
I think it might decide another thing from this week on, though, Mason.
What is it?
Let this sink in.
Oh, that is good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That is funny, good stuff.
That's what I said.
But there's a Wonder Man action figure.
Oh,
Sort of
yeah.
on the Marvel Legends Wonder Man action figure. It's the one where he's wearing a big red safari jacket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, are they testing the waters once again? Who knows?
like you said with Galactus last
yeah,
week,
yeah,
right?
but
so big Galactus.
I mean, none of these have come to fruition yet, so maybe
Sure.
this is all rampant speculation. It is. But in the comic books, Vision gets some of his personality from Wonder Man. It's
Right,
from his
okay.
engrams, his mental engrams.
Is that like a laser?
Yeah, it's a laser.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just shoot some personality into
Shoot
somebody
your
else.
personality. It's like burning a CD.
Yeah, or having a child. You shoot your personality into somebody.
James.
No?
No.
No?
I don't think, no.
The DNA.
Yeah.
It's
sure,
just
man.
much of DNA shooting at each other, making a personality.
Sure, yeah.
And then they grow up with you and you shoot more personality at them.
Uh-huh, sure.
Not literally, Mason.
Oh.
Not in a terrifying sense.
Seems
just like the way
terrifying.
you're crafting young minds and you hope them to be the best people
Spooky
they can.
movies, James. You're going too far, all right? Spooky movies, mate.
I see why that works now, actually.
Yeah, but I potentially maybe we'll get a Wonder Man casting
Yeah.
out of this.
Well,
I mean,
isn't there
they've got to
a-
fill it with Easter eggs and references, don't
There's a
they?
series, isn't there? We've talked about this, where they're casting it for something.
Yeah,
And it was going to be Nathan Fillion, but then I think they just wiped all of
they
that.
aged him out, and they
or
were like,
something.
and they just memory hold Nathan Fillion. He does not exist.
Yeah, another role that Nathan Fillion has aged out of.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Drake, Wonder Man,
Castle,
Castle.
the guy from Firefly.
Yeah, doing another Firefly.
Mhm, yeah.
That's it. Those are all the things.
Captain Hammer.
Captain Hammer. Thank you. There you go. So yeah, I would love to see a Vision.
He can be old
series.
Captain Hammer.
Yeah, well, he looks great.
He does
He
look
looks
great. It's true.
What's his secret? He's rich. Mason.
He looked good before he was rich. Oh, but then he was young.
Yeah, he was
You're
young.
right. Absolutely.
It's
Sure.
one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Or both. Yeah. Well,
That's the Hollywood trajectory. Hope to acquire enough money to look young forever before you
or
get too old.
Before you get too old,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
And you got to age like a fine wine.
You know,
you
age
know?
like a fine wine,
Like-
exactly.
Someone with too many hats and rings.
Yeah. Who knows who that is?
Could be anyone.
Not speaking of, unrelated, From Hell this week for Caravan of Garbage.
That's right.
Very excited for that. We're doing an Alan Moore-a-thon.
Yeah.
where we're doing all his movies that we haven't covered.
That's right.
There's
hey,
some doozies in there.
speaking of actors from the 90s who are out of touch.
Yep.
Did you see this week? This is from Variety. Here's one bit of news. Matthew Perry takes aim at Keanu Reeves.
I did see
Why
this.
is Heath Ledger dead, but Reeves still walks among us?
Look,
Incredible.
As someone who said similar things in jest
Sure, yes.
that may have nearly gotten me in some hot water,
Oh, sure.
I like to think that it's a joke, right?
I think, well, here's the update for this.
I mean, it's not a great thing to say, is it?
If we can head it off at the pass, here's
Yeah.
the update from Matthew Perry. He issued an apology. He said, I'm actually a big fan of Keanu. I just chose a random name. My mistake. I apologize. I should have used my own name instead. So basically, Matthew Perry released of Friends fame
Yeah.
and other stuff.
Yeah.
West Wing? Was he in the West Wing?
I don't know.
He was in Studio 60 on the
was
Sunset
in
Strip.
Scrubs
He
for
was
a
in
bit.
the other 30 Rock.
Oh, the other 30 Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't see that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
No? Just no?
Just no.
All right, I won't.
Right. He basically plays like a guy who's always he plays a guy who single-handedly writes like an SNL style show. And he's
Okay.
just always the funniest and always the best. I think that's him.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does sound amazing, doesn't
that
it?
sounds like a character
Yeah.
I can relate to.
Right. So he wrote a memoir called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, including many revelations, and he had to exit a movie after his heart stopped for 5 minutes. Apparently.
Yeah.
And it cost him. He spent $9 million on rehab. He spent 9 episodes of the show Friends on rehab.
That's nearly a full season.
Right?
Or half a season, maybe.
It's about nearly half a season. Nearly half a season. of
God
Friends.
damn.
Yeah. But basically, he said at 2 points in the memoir, he questioned why Reeves was still alive when talented actors and original thinkers like River Phoenix and Chris Farley had tragic deaths. And we've talked about this off air. I think what happened is he's a guy who's like many years behind the cultural 8 ball.
Yeah. Well, he's like mid-50s at the very least. And he's not in the public eye.
Yeah, and he's
that
kind
much.
of, he got $1 million an episode. All the Friends got $1 million an episode for Friends for years.
And whatever they got for the reunion.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
think he's probably been like insulated from just public discourse
Yeah.
and all that sort of
Twitter.
stuff. Twitter, yeah, he's on Twitter.
Is he?
Yeah.
We probably didn't see that moment at E3 where Keanu Reeves came out and everyone went, we fucking love this guy
Exactly
now.
right.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the crowd when Keanu was like, "You're beautiful," and "You're beautiful."
Yeah.
And Matthew Perry's been like,
That
"What,
was-
am I not beautiful?"
Don't you reckon, though, when Keanu was saying that, that's crazy because Keanu would have been the most beautiful in the room. That's just him being nice.
Indisputably.
That's him being nice,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Because it would have been weird if he's like, you're all right. I'm obviously better looking.
I'm better looking than you. I'm better looking than you. I'm better looking than you.
Yeah. I'm much better looking than you by a long way. Jesus.
And now we've done everyone in the room. I'm fitter than you. I'm fitter than you. I'm fitter than you. Fitter than you. I'm richer than you. I'm richer than you. I'm richer than you. I'm better at riding a motorcycle than you.
Ooh, that's a big gamble, though, isn't it? He's had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's rich.
Anyway,
go on.
what I think happened here is that what I think has happened is he's insulated from the public discourse, but also importantly, apparently he didn't have a ghostwriter for this memoir. He wrote it all himself, and 100% an editor saw that and went, "I could tell him to take this out."
Yeah,
but this will get a lot of headlines.
I didn't know this book was coming out.
Otherwise, this will be completely gone in out of the news cycle in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And nobody will. It'll be like a Netflix movie or whatever. People will talk about it for one scroll of Twitter.
Except for Red Notice.
Exactly, which is we're currently watching now.
Yeah.
We should have more screens. We should have a screen on the roof.
I want one
just
behind
in case
you
I fall.
and one behind me.
Yeah.
I'll be falling at something.
Well, I
that's
can
going,
look up and still be watching Red
Yeah.
Notice.
Yeah, good point.
And I think they went, this will get some headlines. They'll talk about it on the Weekly Planet podcast, they would say. Big shot Hollywood editors, big shot
what
Hollywood
they say.
book editors would say.
That's what they say.
That's right.
Do you, well, as mentioned, I didn't know he had a book out, so this obviously
Worked on us,
worked
didn't
on
it?
us, and now I'm definitely going to buy that book because that's what
right.
I do. I buy books of people who are in things. Mm-hmm. I was joking, Mason. I don't do that because I don't know.
You can't read.
I feel like a lot of people's lives, I'm like, you're not that interesting. And I don't mean him specifically.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff.
You mean people your friends and relatives.
Anybody.
Sure.
There's nobody where I want to read I'll skim a Wikipedia and go, oh yeah, that's
right.
okay.
Oh.
But there's nobody I'd want to read a book about that they wrote themselves.
Keanu Reeves?
No, I don't think he
Matthew
would though.
McConaughey?
No. Oh no. Just got a lot of folksy like general wisdom in there that what if we all got along? Yeah, what if we did, Matthew? That's a fucking great idea, actually.
And I've said this to you, I think. Maybe I mentioned on the show. It's called Green Lights, all one word, his memoir. And I'm like, is that because you're trying to copyright the term green lights? Because it should be green lights. It should be 2 words. Because it's all about you see a green light and you go, you just see the signs and you go. So I'm like, it'd be 2 words. But I think he wants to sell T-shirts or something.
Let's say green lights.
Or like bandanas.
Let's say green lights.
Say green lights. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely get the bandana.
Yeah,
Get
a bedazzled bandana.
Get the banana hammock that says green lights.
That's right. Oh, that's going to become something, isn't it?
Wow, so that was your one bit of news, I assume.
One bit of news.
Well, if you got any more bits of news, Mason, I'd love to hear
I do
it.
have some one bits of news
Love
later.
to hear it. Before you do that, though, let's talk about the first reactions to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is not out till next week, around the 9th, depending on where you are in the world. And everybody loves it and was crying really hard and said it was a really touching tribute, etc. and so forth. You've never seen an experience like this, and it's too long. Some people are like, but it's maybe too long. But
Nearly 3 hours, right?
But the general consensus was that, yes, it's amazing. But, I know I say this every week. Can't believe any of this stuff necessarily, but it's not.
Yep.
It's not bad news.
Yeah.
Like when we heard the Black Adam, people were like, "It's good, I think. It was all right." And then okay, well, let's see.
Yeah.
It's not bad news, but just bear in mind.
Well, James, I have a reaction here that says the only thing that I didn't like about this movie is that the Submariner's little wings constantly make that mosquito noise, even when he's not on screen. Just that.
I would like that, actually.
Oh, you reckon?
I
That's
think
how
that
you know
would
he's
be
coming.
really immersive, yeah. Can they hear him?
Yeah, everybody can.
I mean,
The characters and the actors both. Yeah. The characters.
So they couldn't take the sound out because it was just in all the takes.
Yeah,
and whatever.
and you see everybody just twitching a little bit, looking around.
I think he's somewhere, isn't he?
Occasionally somebody will like do a clap in the air to try and kill
No,
it.
it's not a mosquito. It's the Submariner is coming.
Submariner, yeah. That's how you know.
I am excited for this though, and I really hope it is good. Though we'll see. Find out next week.
See, yeah.
But we'll have a different episode next week, won't we, Mason?
That's correct.
And we'll come back to it. So I was going to get some specific quotes, but you get it.
You get it. You've seen these before.
It's the best of Phase 4, etc. I thought I'd never.
It's the best DC movie yet.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm just looking off into the distance because the Good Ship trailer is here, Mason. Trailers ahoy, everybody! Oh no!
It's got mosquitoes on board.
So it's not.
We're going to burn it.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
That's right.
Before we do, though, let's just talk about the couple of ones that came out. One of which being Ant-Man 3, Let's Get Quantumania.
Which was released in both regular format trailer and
Oh,
also
but Mason, you're going to tell me something hilarious right now because I need to brace myself.
teeny weeny trailer.
Great.
Pretty good, right?
I didn't watch that. I saw
didn't
the
either.
thumbnail and I went, yep.
We get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the view count has spoken and no one watched that either.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I would love to. I'm going to check that.
Please.
But anyway, what do you think?
I don't mean literally no one, James. I mean comparatively.
No, I
if you
know.
compare to the
I
the
know
other
you're
one.
saying that, but what I'm saying is I want to know the statistics
Yeah, sure.
of it.
Also, obviously, Ant-Man can do Giant Man mode, so they should do a really, really big version.
Yeah.
That even when you go full screen, it's too big for your screen.
Still got 1 million views
Just
on it.
just one corner of it. You have no idea what's happening.
It's the ant-sized trailer, Mason, and it's
that's
got
right.
1 million views.
Oh, not bad.
I had to unsubscribe from the Marvel thing because every time they do a premiere, they post 140 videos in a row.
Interesting.
I'm like,
Are you using hyperbole there, James?
no, okay, here, I'll show you. I've literally got it open.
Oh,
right
literally
now.
140 videos, is it?
Shut up, Mason. Okay, so it starts there, and so they're all Black Panther, etc.
What's that document there? Is that your divorce
That's my
proceedings?
notes.
Okay, right.
No, the divorce
Looks
is
a,
final,
That's a
Mason.
solicitor's letter, James.
Anyway, it's all of those.
Okay, that's quite a
There
lot.
we go. It's too many. And in a YouTube feed,
Too many, I
too
reckon.
many, Mason.
Anyway, highlights from this.
Yep.
I
People are like, this looks like Spike because we fucking hate this. That was a highlight for me.
That was a highlight, and another highlight was me spending most of the trailer going, "Who is this young woman? What's her whole deal? Oh, it's their daughter because they recast her.
Why did they recast? I mean, it's
forgot.
Catherine Langford.
Yep.
Is that right? Or is her name? Or am I getting Scott Lang and
Maybe.
yeah. Yeah, because she was good in whoever it was before. Is again, it's a name I don't. Catherine Newton. Sorry.
Okay, right.
Was
Catherine
good.
Lang.
Yeah, she was good. I thought
Yeah.
there was a moment where she saw her dad again and seen him for a while. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they I mean, I guess they wanted a slightly bigger name. I'm assuming, but maybe it was a scheduling thing.
Maybe it's a scheduling thing.
Also, Evangeline Lilly and Paul Rudd, they have the same haircut now, which I appreciate.
Sure do.
Which is apparently a thing couples start to look like each other
That's
after a
true,
while.
yeah.
And apparently it's a result of you mimic each other's facial expressions, so you get like the same creases and wrinkles and stuff as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And the same Karen haircut.
And the same haircut, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
some
and the
people
same Ant-Man suit.
the same Ant-Man suit, exactly. And we also get Jonathan Majors as Kang.
That's true.
It's like, I've got a big blue mask. Is that mask filled with water? Because I'd love it to be. So,
I think it's filled with that blue liquid they put combs in at the hairdresser.
oh,
Yeah.
is that good for you? Can you drink that?
Apparently.
Mark Bonanno did. I saw him. He's in the Auntie Donna.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
when
Not
they
in.
go-
No, you just saw him. You just saw
See
him running
do it.
out of a hairdresser.
I mean, I bet I could catch him doing it if I followed him around for long enough.
Yeah.
But,
Anyway, what do we think is happening in this trailer, James?
Well,
if we're to break it down,
it seems like
trailer
in the
breakdown style.
Quantumverse, there's a
Yes.
whole lot. There's a big secret society in there.
What have we talked about recently? Maybe a movie or something like that, where we're like, maybe just over the hill, there's just a normal city. I
think Constantine, maybe?
Michelle Pfeiffer's character.
Yeah.
She spent a lot of time. She spent a lot of time in the quantum realm, and she made it look an awful lot like it was some sort of jungle environment. You have to survive with your wits and a spear.
Yeah.
Turns out, if you just go over a hill, just a pretty
big city.
just a big.
Oh, it's
city.
a little city, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Well, she also had a bunch of makeup on, so that's a giveaway, isn't it?
That's very
Do
true.
you think she would have had enough foundation to last 30 years in the quantum realm?
No,
Mason?
there's a
I
quantum
doubt
realm
it.
Sephora, I guess.
I'm assuming like
a quantum realm, another makeup company.
Maybelline.
Thank you. Yes.
It's a good one, maybe.
I don't think it is. Apparently, it's not very good.
Well, none of them are they? They're all bad. Aren't they all grinding up chimp hands? Or
James,
something?
I actually prefer a woman with no makeup on at all.
Is that right?
No, that's not true at all. When everybody says that, what they actually mean is they prefer a woman wearing a no makeup.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, because otherwise it's like, you look tired.
Yes.
Something's different about you.
I prefer a tired makeup look, actually, James. That's what I prefer.
People love
just
doing that.
extra brown bags under the eyes.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
it's good. It's good to be at the forefront of culture, Mason. Bill Murray,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty bold to put him
Pretty
in
bold
it.
to put him in even for a second,
Yeah.
After
Yeah, it flashes by though. Do you reckon he's going to be one of the mayors who's like, there's no quantum entanglement, actually?
You know, he does look a lot like the mayor. At least I thought the mayor in Jaws.
Oh,
You know, he's
okay.
all
Yeah,
all dandified and
Yeah,
being like,
yeah.
"There's no problem with sharks in the waters." Ha ha ha! Yeah,
That
there
man was
is
crazy.
though.
There was a shark. There was a big shark. It was
shark.
eating
One of the
so many-
biggest
it was
sharks, yeah.
Multiple movies as well.
yeah.
Man's a fucking idiot. It was also his character in 2016 Ghostbusters, where he's like, "There's no Ghostbusters."
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I'm a dandy, whatever. I'm in a fancy
absolutely.
hat and all that, those kinds of things. I mean, it feels like tonally it's different than the last two Ant-Men. Like it's a little more serious potentially.
It is. That's true. Yeah.
It starts of just like having a good time, and then it's very quickly like, "What have you done? What are you doing?" And then it's
that is true. Yes.
And then all of that.
Well, I mean, the rumored plot. One rumored plot element too that we'd gotten earlier from this was that he's been overwhelmed with fame. He's kind of he's become real prick.
Rocky 3.
Rocky for 3, yes. Exactly.
Is that the one?
Yeah, but I didn't feel that at all in this. It felt like more like Spider-Man 3. He's walking down the street, giving people the finger guns
and all that.
I'm gonna quickly just give it a little skim.
You must find that though as a podcaster, you're getting that level of attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd get it too if you left the house.
Why would I?
It's true. A little thing that I like there is he's been given Employee of the Century over at Baskin Robbins.
Oh, that was funny.
Fun.
Works not only as like a fun little callback, it also works as a product placement.
Oh, incredible!
2 levels there.
That's right.
That's something you missed.
No, I know that. I know that.
Yeah, no,
Classic opening the device that sucks everybody into the quantum realm.
Yep, good stuff.
I just on my own just decided to do this dangerous project. I'm their daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, that haircut's so bad.
Which one?
Evangeline Lilly hair is
Maybe it's the helmet hair,
It doesn't seem like helmet hair. She's wearing her regular clothes.
Okay.
How is it that they're all... How do they have all their Ant-Man suits in the quantum realm? Because they got sucked into this thing.
Presumably they're in a little thing.
They're in a nanotech box. Yeah, luckily we all have this nanotech box on our belts or whatever. Luckily we all wear belts.
We're all wearing belts.
It's in our Apple iWatch.
Yeah.
I know that's not what they're called.
That's what they're called. Okay. In the Marvel universe, that's what they're called.
They're called the Apple iWatch. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, looking good. All right. Good realms. I'm liking that.
Yep.
They're on some sort of weird fleshy dragon, like a meaty manta ray of some sort.
I can't decide whether this more looks like your bland kind of Eternals universe or something like more Guardians and exciting and unique. Like I can't quite tell from this. And I'm hoping it's more... I don't get any distinct kind of vibes from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
10 ring stuff going on there.
10 ring stuff. A lot of people are speculating, and we would be remiss if we didn't speculate.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the 10 rings
in
Shang-Chi, and you might say Ms. Marvel's bracelet is a ring of a sort.
You might say that.
That's right.
Something I noticed.
Yeah. You can't rule out that any of these characters haven't eaten an onion ring at some point, or a calamari ring.
Yeah. You never know what the calamari ring is going to be like until you bite into it. And you're like, oh, this is a stringy one.
Now, what do you think this is? We've got Ant-Man. He's looking at himself, a giant man version of himself, and it turns into a big squiggly situation.
Don't know.
What's going on there? See, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, different realities.
Different realities could be. Yeah.
Because isn't it in one of the... This is different than the trailer they showed at Comic-Con.
I see.
Where Kang's like, haven't I killed a bunch of Ant-Men before or whatever?
Oh,
so that
right.
could be what he's looking at.
Could be. I mean, it could be... and what I'm guessing it probably will be is... We'll have a sort of a blanket statement, sort of maybe at the start of the second act, where it's like, down in the quantum realm, literally anything can happen. We don't have to explain it. It will just happen.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be a big version of you that goes all squiggly, if you can imagine.
Maybe there won't, though.
Maybe there won't. Pretty sure there will be.
Yeah, there's going to be, though.
There's going to be, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, very excited to see Kang and what he's up to.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Delightful.
I'm a big fan.
I'm also a big fan.
Yeah. Should we move it along?
Let's move it along.
Because there's another trailer. I think this was leaked and then they had to put it out. The Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Right, yes.
Just coming up in December of this year.
Yeah.
It's a fun little Christmas jaunt.
That's right. So Peter Quiller's sad.
Why?
What happened to Gamora?
Nah.
She died.
He's all right.
Oh, he's fine?
Yeah, I think he's all right, actually.
Right. You think he's just putting on a show for
I
attention?
feel like if I had access to like time travel and different realities and whatever, and someone was like, your girlfriend died or whatever, hypothetically, maybe your wife, I'd be like, I gotta.
Which is it, James? Which would you be more sad for, if your girlfriend died or your wife?
Well, what I'm saying is though, you could just, which is what's going to happen is you get another one, because the other one's going to turn up in the movie,
right?
There's going to be a second Gamora,
yes,
but not the same. Like he has to, he has to teach her to dance and whatever.
Sure, yeah, right.
Again. So he'll be fine. Right. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Anyway, in an attempt to cheer him up, Mantis and Drax have decided to go to Earth, a place where Peter Quill won't go for some reason.
Yeah,
painful memories or whatever.
Yeah,
and they're going to kidnap Kevin Bacon. I hope Kevin Bacon knows what he's in for here, because as we know, he will get endless questions.
Yeah.
For example, was this Kevin Bacon in the movie X-Men First Class where he played whatever his character's name was and is a bad guy, and because they were going to
Magneto's helmet.
Exactly. Is he going to introduce when they introduce the X-Men? Is that going to affect you? Because are they going to recast your? Is that character going to be in these? Is that unrelated? And he's going to have to be like, I don't know, but I'm excited to see what Kevin Feige cooks up. 2 Kevins, can you imagine? Couple of Kevins.
Can't imagine it.
Ha ha! I'm going to push through with my charisma because I don't know the answers and I don't want to learn the answers.
Well, I think that's.
I'm already sick of this. I'm Kevin Bacon.
I mean, do you think
Because he's in an X-Men movie, James.
Yes, I know. He's in the First Class. I like that movie. It might be my favorite. Is it? I don't know. It's definitely out there. No, but it just seems like a bit of fun.
It does seem like
when
a
we're
bit of
getting
fun.
some Christmas Disney cheer this year, we're getting this and that Santa Claus movie and whatever.
Okay, do you think there'll be an oblique reference to him being in an X-Men movie in this movie?
Potentially.
Special
I mean, if
presentation.
Deadpool was here, absolutely.
Yes,
But I thought they were going to kidnap a Santa. And I don't know
Sure,
whether
yeah,
it was
yeah.
going to be like a real Santa or a mall Santa. But then
Santa
I was
with
like,
muscles,
yeah, Santa
Hulk
with
Hogan.
muscles, Hulk Hogan. But then it was like, no, that's great. It's a good reference and joke.
Yeah.
A reference seeing Kevin Bacon.
Has Peter Quill referenced Kevin Bacon in any movie?
Yeah, in the first one.
Is it
He
Footloose?
says like it's telling Gamora about a great legendary
Oh, of course, that's right.
warrior.
Okay, great,
So
terrific.
that's why it's Kevin
All right,
Bacon. Yeah.
terrific.
That's something you didn't notice.
I didn't notice. James.
When's that out?
Christmas.
Can you be more specific?
No. I don't know when Christmas
Christmas
is.
Day?
I don't know when Christmas is. I've never had Christmas.
Actually, it's November 25th. Wow.
Now, I'm pretty sure that's not Christmas.
But you said you don't know that, though, because you don't know when Christmas is.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Great.
Seems familiar, though.
Yeah. Got a couple of recasts here, Mason.
Oh, that seemed pointed and directed at me.
It is.
Are you implying these are my fault?
Yes. At least one of them. So,
Okay. Well, I don't know who you're talking about, so
there's
it might be my fault.
You watched the final episode of the latest season of Doctor Who.
I did,
And the
yes.
Regeneration. Spoilers, by the way.
Dr. Hoob?
But if you're a big fan, you'd know this, and if you weren't, you don't care.
That's true. Now, to be clear, we're not big fans.
I used to be.
In theory, we are. Well, I mean, okay, so for people who do not recall, so I watched I watched the majority of Eccleston and Tennant.
Yes.
And then intermittently...
We all watched Tenet. It was a big movie.
Haha, nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Go on.
It's good stuff.
Is it?
It involves time.
Yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
But every season I have attempted to I'll watch a couple of episodes. That's how I've maintained my
Same.
my,
I watched a couple of the Capaldis,
Yeah.
maybe one or two of the Jodie Whittaker.
Matt Smith.
No, I watched all of Matt Smith.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched
Good
all
for
that
you.
through. Yeah.
How'd that go?
It's all right.
Okay,
I like him.
I liked his second outfit better than his first outfit. Anyway,
Yeah, because there's too much shirt front. I know. We've talked
we
about
know.
it. Yeah.
That's right. I just need to reiterate it just in case.
Yeah.
People think that I somehow liked his first outfit better than his second outfit, which I don't. Spooky movies, James. I don't like his first outfit at all.
Yeah, I know. But
Spooky
anyway,
movies, mate.
so in this final episode of Jodie Whittaker, what did
right.
you think of it? By the way, I didn't watch it.
I mean,
We're like, I'm going to miss all these.
Well, I mean,
colourful
it's
characters.
interesting. No, because I didn't know most of them. There was some. It was what I feel like is perhaps par for the course currently, which is they get as many former doctors as possible.
I saw that clip.
They replaced the first Doctor, I think, because obviously
with the dude from Game of Thrones or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think
and
he's
they
done it before.
and then
something.
and then they have some sage advice for present day Jodie.
Is that in
Whittaker.
her mind or something?
Yeah, it's in a simulation
Oh
sort
my
of thing.
god! But they're only there for like 20 seconds each, aren't they?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But and as I understand it, she has a companion called Yaz, and everybody was expecting them to have like a romantic thing, but they didn't, and a lot of people were very disappointed about that, I believe.
Right.
And
I'd imagine if I was invested, I'd be upset too.
yeah, but again, not really invested.
Yeah.
And I don't, James, see if you can guess who the villains were in this final episode.
Was it the Master or the Daleks?
It was the Master and the Daleks and the Cybermen.
And the Cybermen.
Yeah, except they're now Cyber Masters. They're
Oh,
evolved
there's a
versions of the
combination.
Cybermen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
This is the Master did it. I like the guy who plays the Master.
He's good, right?
Yeah.
But
Was
in
he
this,
in Iron Fist? He was in Iron Fist, wasn't he?
he was. Wait,
Yeah.
was
he
he?
wanted to be the other Iron Fist?
Oh yeah, second season. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Or
And
first season.
in this, he's also Rasputin. He's revealed that he was,
Oh, that's fun.
Russian, big time Russian guy.
Big
Rasputin.
time
Russian
Russian
guy.
Russian
all the
guy.
time. That guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I always feel like there's something a little bit off about Doctor Who. Something like it's
Always? Like even the stuff that you like?
No, less. I don't know. I feel like it should be. We've discussed this before, but I think like the mistake they make is trying to make it cool.
Yeah.
In like a Hollywood way. Like the episode starts out with kind of like a space train rescue. The Doctor and her companions have to like jump
Does it
on.
go dun, 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 like that?
I don't know. Can you do it again?
Hang on. Jumping from carriage to carriage in space.
No, it doesn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it felt like it's one of those things that it always like it's so weirdly melodramatic. Like there's people on the train and they're like, "We're doing a big distress signal. Can anyone come to help?" And then the Doctor's like, "I can.
Yeah.
I'm the Doctor.
Yeah.
yeah, cool, man. Like,
That is cool.
I mean, it is cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like a little bit off. Like, don't try and make it that. Just make it be its own thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think the worst thing that ever happened to Doctor Who and the best was David Tennant, where the Doctor Who had to be cool from then on?
Yeah.
Because he's like inherently like a cool guy.
I don't
but that's
know.
like who he is.
Have we talked
I
about this
feel.
on air? I think we may have. Like, I feel like Eccleston and Tennant just brought because Doctor Who was never cool.
No.
It was fun and what have you, but it was never cool. But I feel like Eccleston and Tennant made it cool. And then the writers, specifically the showrunner that Moffat, the one who came after Russell T Davies, was like, yeah, what if we wrote him as the coolest guy in the universe? You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should write him as what he is or she, and just. But again, also what's interesting about this episode, there's a Dalek. You wouldn't believe this. Doesn't believe in the Dalek cause.
Whoa.
You know, and it's like, and the Doctor's like, a good Dalek? I've never seen such a thing. You have. Even in the limited episodes I've seen, you've seen multiple times it's happened. I think maybe even in this run, like even the Jodie Whittaker Doctor's met another good Dalek.
Would you prefer if she was like, this is unusual but not unheard of?
That's right. Now that I think about it, this is quite common.
Yeah.
Um,
So the big reveal, though, from
big
the
reveal.
regeneration was, or what is it, Mason?
well, at the end, of course, the Doctor has to regenerate, and she regenerates into, and you wouldn't bloody believe
you wouldn't
this,
even read about it.
she regenerates into the 10th Doctor again.
Clothes and all, though.
Clothes are not, well, yeah.
Which is not done.
What do you think that is? Is it because people wouldn't take the regeneration seriously if it's Tennant in that weird Mork for Mork gear that
I think that would have been
wears?
fun. I mean, I think it depends on where he's come from.
Yeah.
And what, because they're saying he's the 14th Doctor.
Well, okay, so one thing that I liked about this is that he does go, I recognize these teeth.
Yeah.
Because when he regenerates originally
says
from
new
Eccleston,
teeth,
he goes, teeth? Which I thought was a fun callback. So congratulations, you got one fun callback from the last 15 years. Well done. Where were we going with this?
Well, yeah. So
What were you
he's
saying earlier?
Well, so there's going to be 3 specials.
Yeah.
And he, as mentioned, he's the 14th Doctor.
Yes.
There's also a version of him which is human and trapped in another dimension.
Also,
Or living peacefully in another
which
dimension.
might be this guy?
Maybe.
Well, see, that's the thing, because it's the only, as I understand it, the only Doctor that regenerated and got new clothes was the first one into the second one. Since then, every time the Doctor regenerates, they're wearing the old clothes, and they have to switch.
So it could be.
It has happened before,
Yeah.
but just once, like 50 years ago,
Right. It could just be the power of regeneration and too much stuff.
Oh, that's
going
right.
on.
Yeah. So also, this is the third time canonically he's played the Doctor. Because the original one, and then there's a line of dialogue, and I think one of the specials where it's like the 3 Doctors or the 4 Doctors or the 5 Doctors or the 10 Doctors or whatever. He says that he died off screen and he regenerated into Tennant again because he was vain.
Didn't we see that though? I'm pretty
Maybe.
sure we saw that
Did we?
happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, he just regenerated into himself.
Okay. Well, maybe it's been more than that then.
Yeah.
Also, but so the twist, the surprise here is obviously that it's Tennant again. We knew he was going to be in these because there were some set photos.
Yeah.
And people were like, wow, is new Doctor going to meet this Doctor or whatever? But it turns out
Same person.
he
or
may
whatever.
not be regenerating though. Maybe it's something else.
Maybe.
He's switching places with something else. But he and Ncuti Gatwa are wearing the same tie.
Exactly. So
Same tie.
they're going to do 3 specials next
Yes.
year leading up to the new Doctor Who,
Right.
number 15th coming in.
If it's called New Doctor.
New, even newer. And they've got a retro logo, which I quite liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a bit of fun. It's also been confirmed that Disney Plus will now be the exclusive home for new seasons outside of the UK and Ireland.
Oh, we're outside the UK and Ireland.
That's us, Mason. So I will definitely be watching these because not only that, not Stephen Moffat, Russell T Davies is back.
Yeah.
So
it's Chris Chibnall was the previous.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. From what I've heard and speaking to people both and seeing online, but also people in real life, There is some good Jodie Whittaker stuff, but
yeah.
the material doesn't like match how good she is, apparently.
right, okay.
But I haven't seen it,
Okay.
and I won't because there's too
Well,
many.
I've heard that it's okay, but she was miscast. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, I don't know what to believe.
Right?
Maybe she was miscast and it's bad.
Maybe
Could be
that's it.
both.
Yeah, if only we'd watched to know. I tapped out in the Jodie Whittaker. It was the one they did like a James Bond sort of pastiche, but it wasn't very good.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. Well,
Also, the Master was there, I think.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
if you can absolutely believe that.
I can absolutely believe it, Mason.
Mm.
So yeah, it's they do this every few years.
They sure do.
They redo it and whatever, and I think people are generally
Maybe
happy
this
to
will be
see.
the one. Also, if you're in Australia,
I am.
Mostly the way to watch this is on a streaming service called iView, which is in standard definition. So,
Wow.
So
That's how
it'll be
doctors-
nice to see this in HD.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be seen, though.
I guess
isn't it?
that's true, yeah.
Utter crap.
That's right. And sometimes you go to watch it and it's like, no, we taped over it with something else, actually. It's tradition. We taped over it with
taped
the
over it, it's
news.
gone.
We didn't think anybody was interested in watching this.
Speaking of recast, though, Mason.
Uh-oh.
Henry Cavill says,
I know him. I know and love him from The Witcher.
Yeah, wow, you poor Mason. He says he's done with streaming. He's going to be a big movie star again.
Spooky movies. He's going
That's
back to
right.
the movies, James.
So The Witcher season 3 is not out yet, but that is done and filmed.
Okay,
and
it's in the can.
It's in the can, but
The proverbial can.
they've returned.
That Eastern European can that they all have to share on set.
It's like a can of like they piss into it, do they?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
And more.
and more. I don't like that. But they've also confirmed that The Witcher will return for season 4, but
Uh-oh,
through
big
official
bust.
statements through
We're not
Henry
just talking
Cavill.
about Henry Cavill's big bust.
No, through official sources that he will be handing over his sword and wig to Liam Hemsworth
I'm going to say that that's probably inaccurate and he'll probably get a new wig.
to match Liam Hemsworth's
I think so. I
head.
don't think they'll just give him just a poorly shorn off wig and they'll be like, yeah,
A Pauly Shore wig.
Pauly Shore wig. Hand me down wig.
Yeah, so that's people don't like that.
Now, what does this mean? Well, first of all, people should watch The Dressmaker because he's Liam Hemsworth is in that. And he's
Yeah, no, I as I've said before, I like Liam Hemsworth, but he's never nailed down a franchise.
And again,
but successfully.
I said to you, but what about those OPSM ads?
Yeah, and I
People
said I haven't
should
seen
go to
those
YouTube and
whatever.
write.
But like he did like
OPSM,
the
Liam.
was he in Divergent? No, he was in Hunger Games, I guess, but he's not like the lead in Hunger Games. Like he pops up in a lot of things. Like he's never out of work, and I've never seen him bad. He was in.
Here he is.
Independence Day 2.
You can watch the OPSM ads on YouTube.
Great.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
isn't
and it's only 45 seconds.
it? Yeah,
I
so
could
you can
definitely watch that.
Knock it
He's
right
not
out.
going to OPSM though, is he?
Maybe he is.
He's going to a trendy, cool guy.
Also, he's not watching. He's not wearing glasses in the.
Well, he needs
OPSM
glasses.
is a glasses
So he's in
company.
there. He
in
goes,
Australia.
I don't have any fucking glasses. You got to help me.
Give me all your glasses. And he just starts taking glasses off the wall and putting them in his pockets. They're like, sir, that's not how you have to get your prescription put in there. He's like, well, do it now. Do it before I leave. And they're like, it actually takes a couple of weeks if you know.
Yeah, it's a good ad.
Yeah. Liam, please no.
And then at the end, it's a black screen that says, "Don't do this."
It
an
says
ad.
Liam Hemsworth died on the way back to his home planet.
So
he weighed down he didn't calculate the weight correctly in his spaceship.
Typical.
And it crashed into a mountainside because he stole too many
too many
pairs of
glasses. Yeah, too many specs.
Yeah.
So Henry Cavill is obviously he's back as Superman
Yes.
for solo movies and other projects, and it seems like he's back. It's
Do you
not
think
like
this is why? Do you
cameos.
think this is-
I think this is a factor. Other people have speculated that he's going to be James Bond as well.
Here's some
which I think
speculation as
is
well.
possible.
I didn't know this, but
But James Bond and Superman. Jeez Louise, Mason.
right?
Anyway,
spooky movies.
Yeah.
You can do both.
So I should have said spooky movies. Or is that your thing? Am
That's
I
mine.
allowed to say it?
You could do it, but I think it sounds better when I say it.
Okay, all right, cool.
As I apparently this is from a bunch of interviews with Henry Cavill. Apparently, and probably everybody else knew this, but he's such a huge fan of the books, and that's why he really wanted to be The Witcher.
Yeah.
And apparently, he kept fighting for it to be more accurate to the books, and they were like, "Nah."
Weren't they really
actually the books?
dismissive?
Yeah, the book,
And of the games and the books?
yeah, they were dismissive, and apparently the writers were just like, "Nah, the dialogue sucks in these books. We're gonna do different dialogue," or like,
Okay.
"Oh, good for you, Henry Cavill. You like these books, you big nerd," etc.
Well, as someone who watched most of the first season and then stopped, I got to
Right.
tell you, I'm excited, I think, about this, Mason.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, who played Geralt, pushed for The Witcher to have more dialogue so the character would appear more like his novel counterpart.
Yeah.
A lot of the notes he was sending to me were about Geralt's dialogue. Could he, first of all, say more? She then reflected on how season 1 portrayed the Witcher. Everybody came out of season 1 laughing and loving Geralt's fuming, but Henry was saying that when you read the books, you spend a lot of time in Geralt's head, so how can we put that on the page?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he says, the toughest part for me was finding the balance between the showrunner's vision and my love for the books and trying to bring that Geralt to the showrunner's vision. It's about treading a fine line there. It's the showrunner's story, and it's an adaptation. The tricky bit for me was finding Geralt from the book's place within that and being able to serve both as much as I could. You can imagine this in his fancy pants voice.
Yeah, his fancy pants British man voice, yeah.
Not necessarily just more dialogue, bringing a more book-accurate Geralt to the screen because, as I'm sure you know in the books, he's an amateur philosopher, he's an intellectual, he's wise and thoughtful. But it's important for me to have the character be three-dimensional.
I didn't get that sense at all from the episodes that I watched, Mason. But
just a big grunty man?
Just a big grunty man.
Yeah.
Swinging a big sword around, yeah.
There you go.
How much of this did you watch?
Some of the first season.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're in the same camp. How long before they cancel this?
Oh, with Liam Hemsworth at the helm?
Yeah. Not because of him.
Right.
But just because they will cancel it eventually. I guess it depends on ratings, obviously. But
And I mean, it's impossible to know based on the algorithm and what the algorithm is.
Oh, my goodness.
What the algorithm is feeling right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, Ollie.
Relax. It's just a magpie. I can see it through the window. It's just a bloody magpie. Yeah, great. Good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and that's the thing, I guess, is the question is, why has this show kept going for 3+ seasons when other stuff falls by the wayside, even though it seems to be massively popular?
Just must be in that algorithm.
It's in the algorithm where more people subscribe to watch The Witcher
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
And come on board every time there's a new season.
And does that mean that does the changing in lead casting, will that encourage more people to the platform? Or
do you feel like Henry Cavill, when he left Superman, he was at a different level of fame and movie star gravitas than now? He's much more.
Yeah, right.
He's more your A level. Not that he was ever like not real. I mean, he was Superman, and he was
for a while he was not real, James.
Yes, he was also not real. But you know,
we wished him into being.
You know what I
like?
mean?
What if there was the biggest British man? We know there are a lot of pale, weedy British men, but what if there was a big British man?
Do you know what I mean though by that? Like he's.
Yeah.
It seems like he's. I feel like marketing wise as well because he did Mission Impossible or whatever. So he's just been building his like public persona and his brand and whatever and doing
and getting out there and going on Graham Norton and telling him about Warhammer figurines or whatever. Exactly.
I built a PC. Anyway.
Then you get your armies to fight.
Yeah. Anyways, I like Superman and I don't care about The Witcher, so this is all fine for me.
Great for us, isn't it?
Star Wars news, Mason.
Do you think that do you think they pitched him like we're going to give you 3 movies or something?
I would say so. Yeah,
right.
Something like that. Yep.
Okay.
And didn't he say he wanted to bring the fun back in Super Fun?
Fun, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I want to bring the fun back in Super Fun, and they're like, "Are you okay,
Yeah.
Henry?" He's like, "Oh, I think there's a super gas leak right now. Oh, I'm not having a super fun time.
This is a regular gas leak.
Oh."
There's nothing super about it.
What is the timing on this? Was this today?
Yeah. It happened Sunday.
Okay, well, this is going to line up with another
For
bit
us.
of news that I think you have coming up.
Potentially, yes.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, let's do some Star Wars news first, Mason.
Okay.
Damon Lindelof will write with Justin Britt Gibson and a Star Wars movie, and it's going to be directed by filmmaker Shireen Obaid Chinoy, who she directed a few episodes of Ms. Marvel. So it's going to be apparently a standalone Star Wars movie set after The Rise of Skywalker, which will potentially feature some of its characters returning. And it could also lead to more movies after that, but they're not doing trilogies anymore, Disney, for Star Wars. Apparently they we'll do one movie, and if people like one movie, we do 2 movie. If people like that movie, we do 3 movie. If people like that movie, they do 4 movie.
Okay, and then
if people like that movie,
then we make exponential movie.
Yeah, and then they're 5 movie.
Make a Fibonacci
They do
sequence
that
of movie.
and then they're like 6 movie.
Ah.
Yeah. And then if they like that movie,
Go on.
that's enough movies.
It's enough.
Yeah, you've had enough.
Had enough movies. Go to bed, all of you.
So
You go to the cinema and it just says, go to bed. Go to bed, all of you.
I like all the
You're not
names.
getting your money back. You paid for a ticket, but you're not getting it back. This is for your own good.
So they advertise a 7th movie that they didn't make.
That's right.
And you go to buy a ticket, they're like, go home.
No, you buy the ticket. And then
That's
you
what I meant. Sorry, you buy it,
yeah.
and then you go into the theater and it just leads you outdoors.
That's right.
Back into the car park.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I like this team. I mean, Damon Lindelof. We've talked about it before. He did Watchmen, the series, which I thought was great. He did The Leftovers, which was great. I also like that they're going to move beyond The Rise of Skywalker and maybe do something more interesting with those characters than they did in the last movie because that was not very good. But it's not going to be like in your mainline Star Wars movies, Mason, which I know you'll be devastated about.
I'm Devo.
Yeah, you'll be all right. In addition to that, this is via Puck News.
Thanks, man. That's the support I need.
This is via...
Remember, if one of your friends says that they're Devo,
Yeah.
you gotta tell them.
Got to acknowledge that.
And then tell them they'll be right.
You'll be right, mate.
Stop sooking.
Yeah.
It's important.
Just have a tinny, you know?
That's right.
This is by Puck News, though, Mason. Link to this. Bob Chapek, head of Disney and whatever, has advised Kathleen Kennedy to stop announcing projects until they are set in stone
Spooky movies, Kathleen.
I know.
Stop announcing movies until they're set in stone, all right?
to avoid further
Come on,
negative,
Dal.
Yeah, to avoid further negative press surrounding the franchise and the company. And to be fair, some of the news of movies and shows that like it hasn't been officially announced, but there's been a bunch that have been. For example, they filmed that one on the tarmac with the X-wing, and they're like, "We're going to make the best movie you've ever seen. You'll kill yourself. It's so good." And then that's not happening. We don't know what's happening with Ryan Johnson's trilogy. There are other things.
sure,
Taika
yeah.
Waititi, is he still making one?
Yeah.
I think so. But
So the
is he?
solution here, the Band-Aid solution is stop announcing stuff.
Stop announcing stuff.
Okay, great.
So I think they just,
I think it's going to work.
yeah, I think it's just, and also people don't believe them now. Like I hear this one, Damon Lindelof and whatever, and I'm like, okay,
We'll see when
let's
it comes
see. Yeah,
out.
that would be great.
Even
Yeah.
if they announce it at cinemas and they sell tickets, I'm still not going to
Yeah.
believe. On account of the thing that happened.
Yeah, that's
We
like,
went in.
they said Patty Jenkins, and I'm like, that's good. Can we see that? Taika Waititi. All right, what does a Star Wars movie with him look like? I want to see the Ryan Johnson trilogy. This is all interesting. Can we have some of them?
No.
Andor's great, by the
No.
way, Mason. I know you haven't seen it yet.
I'm not up to date, no.
It's incredible.
yeah.
Mason, it's incredible.
Okay, God.
Everybody tells you that, don't
Everybody
they?
does tells me that.
It's true, though. It's absolutely true. Here's something else someone's going to tell you. That's
on.
someone being me.
Okay.
It's via THR.
You wouldn't have the guts.
I'm ready, though. I feel like I've got the confidence now.
Out with it then.
Okay, DC is saying that the Green Lantern series...
Jesus, called my bluff. I don't think you would.
It's completely retooled. So it's got a new showrunner and writer because Seth Grahame-Smith has left the series after finishing the scripts for all 8 episodes of the first season they were going to do. That one was going to focus on Alan Scott and Guy Gardner. Now, this one is going to focus on I've written Alan Scott twice, but it's not Alan Scott.
Okay, is it the two new guys?
No, what's his name? He's in the cartoons as well.
Hal Jordan.
No, the other one.
Kyle Rayner.
No, the other one. John Stewart.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
I was like, is it John Stewart? Because there's John Stewart, like the TV guy. But
Right,
is it
yes, that's
yeah,
right.
so that's due to his popularity. Because he's probably the one that people know the most.
At this point, I reckon I would say definitely in like sort of non-comic adaptations. I would say because he's in all the cartoons.
Exactly.
Wait, Hal Jordan's in Injustice, the video games, right?
Probably.
Yes, he definitely is.
Now I don't mind that they're retooling this as whatever.
Sure.
The only I want though to see like a Guy Gardner, just an awful person
Yeah.
to show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't really care who leads it. Like, yeah, great. I like John Stewart, but I still want to see the larger Green Lantern Corps.
Sure, yeah.
And all of that. So, because they were going to do Alan Scott, because Alan Scott's gay, yeah?
Yes.
And so I think the initial idea was you got the original Green Lantern, and then he's clashing with the Guy Gardner Green Lantern, because, Guy Gardner's got the worst haircut and he's the worst.
Okay,
They
sure.
cast this as everything, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, do you think it's just going to be a bunch of catty comments about his haircut? Okay, great, terrific.
But yeah, so I think that would be interesting. But I don't know. I think Greg Berlanti's still on board because he was producing it. But of course, there was a big DC shakeup. And speaking of Mason,
Yeah, I would have loved to see Alan Scott in live action. That would be great.
and maybe we will. Maybe we still will. Now,
One of the worst costumes.
Yeah.
Just atrocious.
Well, it's from the 30s or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So apparently, in a role that they actually, because DC were looking, we've talked about this. They were looking for their Kevin Feige, and apparently they even went to Kevin Feige for this role for Kevin Feige.
Hey, Kevin Feige, you got any room on your plate to do another Kevin Feige job over
Yeah,
here?
can you Kevin Feige for us over
You
here?
got a spare decade to turn this ship around, this sinking ship?
How old are you? You got a deck? You got kids?
Yeah, that's right. You're turning a sinking ship around. It's still sinking. You just be turning it around to sink in a different location. You okay with that? Kevin, you still there?
Well, he politely declined, apparently.
Kevin, I'm talking to him in person. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
He's he thinks my vision's based on movement.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, so he politely declined. He didn't want to do it.
Allegedly.
Well, also,
Get out of here.
apparently they went for him in the earlier days of the MCU.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, when he was going up against like Ike Perlmutter and whatever, and he's like,
and they were like,
gonna get out.
we'll give you a free ride.
and
over
I think
here.
from rumors are that he
We got a ship. It's got a few holes in it, but I reckon you could probably plug those holes.
It's early days here.
Early
Kevin,
days.
so yeah,
The ship isn't sinking yet,
No.
Kevin. Over here at DC,
so THR.
we made Man of Steel.
That's right. So as THR reported, James Gunn and producer Peter Safran have been tapped to lead DC's film, television, and animation efforts as co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios, a newly formed division at Warner Brothers that will replace DC Films. So forget what you knew about DC Films, Mason.
It's out the door. It's in
Usher
the bin.
in the DC Studios.
Uh-oh.
What does that mean?
They could be making anything, not just films.
Yeah.
They could be making TV.
Yep.
They could be making crypto.
Yep.
Crypto-based crypto.
Yeah, that's
Crypto
good.
the
I
dog,
like that.
but it's on
It's
crypto.
crypto, yeah.
Yeah.
And bandanas. They could make
Bandanas,
three
certainly,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Krypton currency. Right?
Very good.
Right.
So apparently James Gunn will focus on the creative side and Safran will focus on the business and production side of the division.
How are these two going to get along? One's all about art and one's all about business.
And they have to live together.
Right? One of them always wants the top bunk.
Yeah. So it's a 4-year deal and James Gunn will be exclusively working at DC for this time.
Whoa. So is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 film finished?
Yeah,
filming?
so he's going to promote that and do all that, but then
Okay.
that'll be his last Marvel thing.
Who do you think he's
for a
going to
while.
bring on for who of his mates?
Dave Bautista
Dave Bautista, maybe.
and nobody else.
Michael Rooker in another role?
Michael Rooker. No, he did that. He killed him already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give him another.
Oh, another role. Yeah, you might be right. It's also established universes like Joker will still be separate.
Okay.
And potentially the Batman, but we don't know about that. And I think the next Batman sequel is like 2025.
25. In a lot of ways, this is exactly the same as the DCU we had before this. It's just we've got two guys who are willing to cop a lot of bullets for it.
Yeah, I mean, also I like these guys more
Yeah.
than whoever was in charge of the last.
Who's the other
stuff.
guy that's not James Gunn? What's his deal?
He's produced a bunch of stuff. He's a good producer. He's produced some. I think he did Aquaman and
Okay, great.
some other stuff. But
Nice.
producers like who knows what they do,
Right.
So I
Sure.
guess he's a good one.
Uh-huh.
But I think James Gunn. I think the difference between Kevin Feige. He's not like a director like James.
Well, here we
Gunn.
go. James is gonna bloody say a thing about a guy.
No, this seems good.
Yeah, it does,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know yet, but it
Yes.
seems like a good idea, like on the surface. But I think the advantage of this is like Kevin Feige is like he's a bit creative and he knows his lore.
Who's a bit creative?
No, but he's not a director, is what I'm
Right.
saying. Like he's good.
Okay,
His ideas clearly work,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
knows
yeah.
what fans want to
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
and he can interconnect stuff. But he doesn't write and he doesn't direct. He
true.
like oversees. Whereas James Gunn does those things, and I think in addition to that, having another guy who can do all the producery stuff, whatever
Yeah.
they do, I think that seems like it could be a good balance.
That's true.
But also, not everybody I think likes James Gunn's aesthetic necessarily. But I think James Gunn is smart enough not to James Gunn everything. Like he's
yeah.
not directing every movie. He is going to still direct and write. But I think like the Suicide Squad is probably the best DC movie.
Certainly up there. Isn't
Yeah.
It? Yeah.
If not, yeah, it's definitely up there. Yeah. So, yeah, the goal is for them not to just be producers, but truly function as executives. And even, as mentioned, Gunn will occasionally hone a movie. And I guess it still depends on like how much freedom are they actually going to get here as
Yeah,
well.
great question.
I'm hoping a lot. But it's also wild that he got fired, which 3-4 years ago, which
yeah,
is now
from
led
Marvel, from
to
Disney.
this.
Yeah.
Rehired, and then in that he did the Suicide Squad and whatever. So there you go. You happy with any of this news, Mason?
I'm happy with all that news.
Jiminy Christmas. What's your expression again? Spooky Halloween.
Yeah.
Is that-
Jiminy Christmas, spooky Halloween. What's going on here? You bloody kids. Oh, dog's here.
So there you go. But that's not the only exciting bit of DC news, Mason.
Isn't it?
No. So
Whoa.
this is not an official announcement, but it was in a Warner Brothers memo. So you know it's legit.
So this is a leaked memo.
Yes. So what we did know unofficially as the DCEU is now officially
Yes.
the DCU, Mason.
Hell yeah.
They've rebranded.
Wow.
So it took them
It's actually now the DC Union. They're all on strike.
good.
I support them.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's nearly 10 years of these movies in this universe, and they've
Yeah.
finally picked a name.
Terrific.
But it does, it begs the question, because Detective Comics, they call it DC Comics.
Yes.
But it's not Detective Comics. So is this Detective Comics universe or the Detective Comics cinematic universe?
Oh, that is a great question. Is this a recursive acronym?
Yeah, 'cause
Does
I
the
was-
D stand for DC?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, what does that mean? And I was hunting around to like find it, and I don't know.
Okay.
So Because the MCU it's Marvel Cinematic Universe
Correct,
itself,
yes.
because it's, Marvel just means Marvel. So
Hell yeah.
it ultimately doesn't mean anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm presuming it means just DC Cinematic Universe. I'm
Maybe it
assuming
does,
that's
yeah.
what it means, but I don't know. What does anything mean?
Maybe it's going to be called the Detective Comics universe, and they're going back to basics. James Gunn's like, you don't understand how to do superheroes. We're going back. We're just going to be hard-boiled detective comics.
Yeah.
It's going to be a guy in a chair reading hard-boiled detective comics.
Do you think they're going to change the intro? All those people we see with no faces.
No, because they haven't used any of those characters yet.
Some of them they have.
Here's
like,
100 DC characters, and we've used 5 of them.
Hawkman's
Well done.
in there, I think.
Yeah.
And there's obviously ones like mainline ones like Superman and whatevs.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You know what they should do? They should, every time they release a movie, they should show that intro and check off the characters they've used, and we can see what's left.
I like that a lot, Mason.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Mason, spookiest time of the year.
It is the spookiest time of year. Just as an addendum, the guy, and he's in a chair and he's reading the Detective Comics stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, this is a good one. It's a bit of a yarn, isn't it? We don't actually hear any of them. He's reading silently.
Okay. Who wrote this? Oh, yeah. Doesn't even say who it was.
Yeah.
Looks at the cover.
No, I don't care for this guy. And he just moves a couple of pages. And we're enraptured.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, what didn't he like about that guy? What's he seen before? Because we remember from the previous ones, and he's like, I didn't like this one or this one. And you're like, which is he talking about? Pretty incredible, I think.
So, Mason.
Go on.
Because it is the spookiest time of the year.
Oh, yes.
And you know what I'm not referring to?
I mean, you are referring to tax season, right?
No.
Oh.
No, not just, no. I mean, I guess.
But all the previous times you've been referring to tax season.
No, I've been like, I've said tax season, but I wasn't directly referring to it. I'm talking about Halloween.
So when you said the
specifically.
spookiest time of the year, you didn't mean tax season?
No.
Huh.
Yeah.
Spooky movies. You wouldn't talk about tax season any of these times.
We've got 3 movies we're going to talk about that we've picked.
That's right.
We're going to do...
Some for convenience sake.
Sure. We're going to do some non-spoilers for all and then spoilers. The one that we're going to go real spoilers on, which is probably the most spoilery. Oh, the first one is as well. Is
the movie Barbarian, which will save till the end,
yeah.
I think.
But there is how
are we doing this? One movie, no spoilers.
Yeah, I think
Second
so.
movie, no spoilers. Third, okay, right, great. So if you're hanging out to watch Barbarian,
yeah, it's on streaming now.
Yeah. Skip to the end, and also if there's ads in your copy of this podcast, maybe add another couple of minutes.
That's right,
because we might be right in the middle of a spoil.
A big spoil.
When you skip, you might be like, I'm gonna skip past.
We
this.
can't control how long the ads are.
That's right.
We've tried. I've run in there with a gun.
Make them longer, we say.
yeah.
We're waving this gun around.
Anyway, so Helena Regin, I don't know how to pronounce that. This is her first English film.
Who are we talking about?
The director of this.
What film?
Sorry, Bodies.
Okay, right.
I didn't explain any of that.
Terrific, okay.
So, yes, what do you think the story was?
Oh,
I'm going to hit
okay.
you with that 3 times.
All right, well,
we're going to do about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes on each,
yeah.
probably, give or take.
Well, it's about a bunch of young people. Yuck, first of all, yuck.
Agreed.
They're mostly on the rich side, and it focuses on a young woman named Sophie.
Yep.
She hasn't spoken to in her friend group. She hasn't spoken to her friend group in a while.
Some kind
she's
of
leaving.
falling
She's
out.
leaving that group chat on red probably.
Yeah.
But a bunch of them are going to one of their dad's mansions for a weekend away,
Yes.
and she decides to go because she's got a new girlfriend.
That's
so
right.
she's going to jump in there, and over the course of the weekend, they're like, "Hey, why don't we get massively drunk and do a lot of drugs, and then we'll play a party game? What's the worst that could happen?" The answer's the worst thing.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So what I liked about this is how I enjoyed how everybody's awful.
Sure, yes.
And they really lean into that.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, obviously they have redeeming qualities and all of that, but there's a lot of like going on of like who's the most oppressed, and you know what I mean? And who, I don't know who's had the most like, you know,
They're high on
troubled.
they're high on social media buzzwords and also lots of drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah. So without getting too far into spoilers, so one of the characters ends up dead.
Yep.
And after they play the game Bodies, which I don't think we have, but it's similar to like it's a social deduction game.
Werewolf,
It's
right?
like Werewolf or Mafia.
Yeah.
And one of them ends up dead afterwards, and they're like, okay, well let's all go insane.
Yeah.
Let's solve this or go insane.
Or go insane. Or go insane solving it. Exactly.
Exactly. And what I loved about this movie
Did you love Lee Pace?
I did love
and
Lee
he's
Pace.
ripped bod.
Yes. He's the token guy who's too old to be
What
there.
are you doing here, guy?
You're in your 40s and your girlfriend's 20 or whatever. What's happening here? What I liked about this movie is that, and I think maybe we talked about this recently, but the idea of the resurgence of horror is happening now, I feel like, because it's the genre of movie where you can just have a very good idea.
Yeah.
And movie production companies will give you some money to make it.
And you only need $2 to $5 million to
And you
do something
need
like
you
this.
need maybe one location. It's all about the idea. Whereas if there are other, if you want to make an Avengers Endgame,
I do.
absolutely, you can't. First of all, it's too late.
Ah.
And I know you also want to make a Blazing Saddles, but you can't do that these days. But the idea, if you want to make a huge
Avengers Saddles? Could I?
yeah,
Blazing Avengers?
Blazing Avengers,
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool. Yeah,
Cool, all right.
they sit around the campfire and they fart. They do a bunch of farts. But if you're first of all, if you're an aspiring movie maker, they're not going to give you $200 million to make Avengers Endgame. But if you are going to make that movie, there's not as a director, there's not a lot of creative choices you can make.
No.
They give you $200 million and you have to make it exactly how they want based on
And there's certain
demographics
stars
and
involved. And
yes, exactly. Everything is outside of your hands. But I think the resurgence in horror is happening because people, in the mainstream, because we're not horror guys, really.
No.
But it's because you can just have
Well,
a good
certainly
idea,
horrific
and you
looking.
get creative. Thank you. You get to make creative choices. And what I
Yeah.
liked about this movie specifically is it is basically what if one of these social deduction games, which in the real world people have personality clashes and real tensions come out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What if it escalated to a murderous degree?
Absolutely.
And I think that's really
It's a bit of a
interesting.
whodunit. Like,
Yeah.
who'd be doing this? And yeah.
Have I mentioned on the show that I played that one time years ago, and we played like 3 rounds, and I was completely tapped out. I'm like, this is too stressful. And then we played. Everybody else played one like a fourth game or whatever. And somebody at one point said, "I think you're the murderer, and quite frankly, I've never trusted you." It's one of those ones. And I'm like, this is, of course, this.
Wow.
I'm
They said it to you or said it to
no,
another
to
person?
somebody else. Yeah.
Who was it? These
I
people
can't even
know?
remember who they were.
Wow. That's
Maybe I do. I'll
probably
tell you
right.
later.
Yeah, but speaking to what this probably cost $2 or $3 million, and it's made 13
Yeah.
in cinemas, and that's just cinemas because I'd imagine it's doing quite well.
It's probably
Streaming
doing quite
people
well on
talk about it.
pirating as well. On the
Yeah,
pirating
that's probably
service.
true also, yeah, absolutely. But no, I just I enjoyed like the relationships in this, and by that I mean like the toxic personalities and the toxic relationships, and like who's holding like a log grudge against another
Yes, for
person
sure,
who was
yeah.
sleeping together, and and carried over, and
And there are a bunch of people who they think they're the relationship crumbled and they think they're in the right, but if you look at somebody else's perspective, they're in the right, and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Good cast. Amanda Stenberg is Sophie, the main character, and we get Maria Bakalova as her
Yes.
girlfriend. Maria Bakalova, of course, was Borat's.
Cosmo. She's going to be Cosmo the space
Oh, that's
dog.
right. So
Yeah.
she's Borat's daughter in
Yes.
Borat 2, and she's in. She's also in that Netflix movie which you didn't see, where they're all in the bubble.
The Bubble.
The Bubble,
I
yeah.
did see The Bubble.
Oh,
I
did
watched
you?
The Bubble.
Okay,
I ended
right.
up watching it.
All right, then.
I thought it wasn't as bad as everybody said. I thought it had some good moments in it.
I liked it too. I thought it was
Yeah.
fun. But the biggest names in this, Maria Bakalova, we got Pete Davidson and Lee Pace.
Yes.
But for the most part, I don't recognize most of these people,
No.
which I think was to its credit. I think
Completely, yeah.
a lot of people know who Rachel Sennett is, but whatever she is in, out of my wheelhouse, I think. But
Okay, fair
but she
enough.
was very good, I think, as
Yeah.
Lee Pace's girlfriend. Well,
Yeah.
Lee Pace is her boyfriend. And
Apparently, yes, she's a comedian. I was just
There
looking
you
up
go,
there.
yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's good fun. No, I enjoyed it, and if we're going to do spoilers, I would say also if there's probably, I think there's maybe a little too much wandering around in the dark with a
in this
phone.
movie about wandering around. in
Yeah,
the
but
dark
I mean
with a
just
phone?
like a little bit too much, maybe.
Okay, sure.
potentially,
Well,
yeah.
Well, what is the correct ratio of?
I don't know.
for
There were
you?
moments when I'm like, I get it. You
Okay,
know?
sure.
But that's like a very minor quibble.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that's because I was looking at my phone too much, which also, this movie often, it's kind of,
makes you think, doesn't it?
maybe I'm at fault here. But I really thought, like, it had me going like, who is this? Okay, I think I've kind of narrowed it down. And then like, as people are, disappearing or dying off, it is like, you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not really sure who this is. And then, when they whittle it down to like a few left, the reveal I thought was very satisfying.
Agreed.
I know, I think that some people would be like, that wasn't satisfying. Spoilers, can we do spoilers, Mason?
Yeah, best movie ever.
Yeah.
This is definitely out on streaming in
Yeah.
places. I think if you're in
100%.
Australia, it's at the movies, but
Yeah.
you take a little trip on a weekday. Why not?
But
Because
there's,
everybody's got weekday days
yes.
off.
Well, it turns out that there's no killer.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. There's no killer. And by that I mean the initial killing, which is Pete Davidson, is him trying to open the cork of a champagne bottle with a samurai sword, and he accidentally cuts his own throat.
It's a kukri. It's not a samurai.
Thank
sword.
you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I did watch this a few weeks back, and I didn't note down the type of sword, Mason.
It's not even really a sword. It's more a big knife. It's more a machete.
Isn't a sword just a big knife, though?
How dare! Wow, we're gonna get sword guys. We're gonna get that famous sword guy on YouTube.
The YouTube sword guy.
What's that guy's name?
It's like
Shadowversity.
Yeah, great.
Shadowversity's going to come at us.
Have you ever watched any of those?
Yeah,
I know you get
I think they're
recommended
fun.
them. Yeah, you're a big fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, from there is a bunch of killings.
It's just his station ID goes, Shadowversity.
Oh, very good.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
But there is killing that happens. But those either seem to be accidental or paranoid people killing each other because they're looking for a killer who isn't there.
It was a real fun release of tension when we get to the end, because obviously he wants to knock there's a foreshadowing at the start because Lee Pace can do that.
Yeah, cool.
He can of course knock a top of a bottle off with a samurai sword, and Pete Davidson's character wants to be that guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he kills himself. But yeah, at the end, I thought that was great. Just the idea that. Just that sinking realization when they're like, "Oh, this all happened."
What have we done?
I want a character to be like, "Yeah, I hit Lee Pace in the back of the head with a big weight and killed him."
Yeah,
I hit him so many times.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah,
yeah. So
whenever anyone who's running around in this kind of movie, I'm always like, "You'll hit your head."
And they do.
They do. Yeah,
don't fall down the center of stairwells.
Don't run around at nighttime.
Yeah, don't do it.
You'll trip. You'll hit your head.
Trip your head. It's no good, mate. Especially with all the drugs and etc. and so
That's
forth.
right.
Yeah. So, should we move on to the next one?
We should.
I thought that was good.
So what we've done here is what we came up with, I think, was a horror thriller.
Yep.
A pure horror.
Yep.
And just sort of more a dramatic thriller. And that's the one we've got here, which is Australia's own.
That's right.
Netflix's
own.
Has released The Stranger, which is starring and directed by
Thomas M. Wright.
Okay, right. But it's starring.
Directed and wrote
Right.
this.
It's starring Joel Edgerton and Sean Harris.
Yes.
And the titular stranger.
What do you think the story was?
Oh, okay. Sean Harris is a bloody down on his luck bloke, and he's just sort of
he's wandering about.
He's just wandering about. He's
looking for work.
He's a real drifter looking for work. And he on a long bus ride, he meets a bloke who introduces him to another bloke, and they're like, "You want to do some crime?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, wouldn't mind doing a bit of crime."
Well, I don't kill people, but I'll do a crime.
I'll do a bit of crime. And Joel Edgerton's like, "All right, well, we need."
Joel Edgerton's the other guy.
He's the other guy, and he's like, "Well, we need somebody to do a bit of crime. You want to do a bit of crime?" And he's like, "Yeah, all right, I'll do a bit of crime." But then it turns out maybe not all is as it seems with everybody.
No.
And without giving too much away,
this is also based on a true story.
This is
and by based, I mean pretty accurate to a thing that really happened involving real people. And it was a real event in Australia. So it's based, and I didn't know this going into this.
Neither did I.
But it was a disappearance of a kid called Daniel Morecambe in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is centered around that, and not that's the kid. It's the real people involved in this story, the real guy who did it and all of this and how they caught him, etc. and so forth. And I can't really say anything else about that without going into spoilers because it doesn't actually. At first, I'm for 20 minutes, I didn't really. You don't know what you're watching.
Yes, that's true.
You're like, okay, down on his luck guy. I kind of like this guy. He's just looking for work. Oh, a crime guy. Oh, I don't know about this.
Not a crime guy.
Maybe that's just not a good idea to get him with these crime guys.
Let me tell you about this. I love Joel Edgerton and everything. I think that's a great performance. Joel Edgerton just generally. We'll talk. I think we'll just talk about this briefly, I think. But it is on Netflix. Yep. I assume it's on American Netflix as well. There's no way it wouldn't be. But it's also...
I think it's called Yankee Doodle Dandy Netflix over there.
That's great.
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it's true.
It's really good.
Yeah. The logo's crazy.
I bet. Lassos and cowboy hats and...
Cactuses wearing hats.
Six-shooters, spurs on your boots. Pretty good. And instead of going to-dum, it goes wee-hoo! Wee!
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
God.
But Sean Harris... provides, I would say, the most realistic depiction I've ever seen on screen of that kind of guy.
Completely agree.
I meet a lot of these kind of guys.
I know you do. I used to when I traveled more.
Yeah. But it's so profoundly accurate to this kind of guy. I don't know if it would translate as well to America, but it's just he's kind of sketchy and the stories he tells and like
The vibes.
the vibe and how he like big notes himself.
Yeah.
Or the way he talks.
And you feel bad because you're like, this is clearly like a troubled person who has had a bad life.
And how it has, you know, like you said, like you don't know what's going on initially, and you're like, how does this evolve? Like, there's no excuse for what these kind of guys do, like generally, but you get why they got there because, like, probably they were raised in like poverty and whatever, and their parents were, and their parents were. It's like he's not going to go to uni and get his accounting degree or whatever. Like this is the best he could ever do, kind of thing. And it's like it's such a kind of like confronting and like conflicted viewer you've got of this guy, but just like, and he nails the accent too.
Yeah, he really does.
Like
he's the bad guy in some of the Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
movies,
he's in Rogue Nation and Fallout.
And the one after Rogue Nation. Yeah.
You wouldn't know. I think if I'd never seen him before, I'd be like, yeah, of course he's Australian. This guy.
Yeah.
Also, Sean Harris. I was like, I should look up some stuff about Sean Harris.
Find out what he's doing.
Find out what this dude's up
What's he
to.
up to?
He's one of those guys that's like a blank. Like he doesn't like on his Wikipedia page. Born 1965 or 1966.
One of those guys.
He's 56 or he's 57. Like there's no. He's clearly like stays out of the spotlight.
Where's he from?
He's from Woodbridge in Suffolk in England. But once again, I have watched all those Jay Foreman videos about London and England and maps and what have you, and I couldn't tell you anything about the geography of England. I don't understand it.
Sure.
Where's London?
Where's Shrewsbury?
Where is
Real great
Shrewsbury?
question. I've been there.
Is Bath near Bathgate? Is that why they have the same names?
Yeah.
basically?
Was Bathgate an incident?
Oh. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, he's great.
They're great.
Yeah. All right, spoilers?
Spoilers. Best movie ever.
Best movie ever, for sure.
I feel like I often say this, but like it's not. You won't enjoy it, but it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
And really well written and excellent performances.
And it's very tense, but
not in the way that like someone going to get shot or get their head cut off. Or
because
something.
like there's no
Those aren't the stakes.
There's no shootouts. There's no chases. There's no.
Oh yeah, maybe I didn't like this.
Maybe you didn't like it. There's no big lasers shooting into or out of the sky.
No, not that I saw.
You know?
Yeah,
that's right.
So basically,
nobody said that's just happened.
Nobody even said that.
Yeah.
So this guy who's on the bus and he's kind of you feel bad for him. He's down on his luck and he's lonely. He is he's part of something that police have coined. It's got different names, but it's called a Mr. Big Police Operation.
That's right.
Which I'm just going to read this out because it's a better explanation of how I would explain it.
This is what he's caught up. This is what he gets placed into.
Yes.
Yeah.
So police officers create a fictitious grey area or criminal organisation and then seduce the suspect into joining it. They build a relationship with the suspect, gain their confidence, and then enlist their help in a succession of criminal acts, e.g. delivering goods, credit card scams, and selling guns, for which they are paid. Once the suspect has become enmeshed in the criminal gang, then they are persuaded to divulge information about the criminal history usually as a prerequisite for being accepted as a member of the organisation.
Yeah.
So this guy,
they think he
real
murdered
life,
a kid.
They're pretty confident that he did. His alibi is like shaky as fuck. Nothing ever came of it. They never found the body. They don't know what happened to this kid. And so it's just like this 9 levels deep police operation where every person that he interacts with, and this happened, is a police officer playing a role. And Joel Edgerton for months, and again, real guy, had to pretend to be this guy's like mate. And
well, I think they were probably mates in real life. You're referring to the character.
Oh yeah,
the character had to one character had to pretend to be another character's mate.
And you feel bad because the criminal guy, before you know what he did, is like, I don't get a chance to talk to anybody. I'm lonely and all of this, and it really it just twists on you when you find out the reason why they're looking for this guy. And it's also, and initially I'm like, is this even true? Like, is this the guy that did it?
Yeah, because before it turns out. But because before the reveal that like Joel Edgerton is a cop and everybody else is a cop and what have you, you're like, oh mate, don't turn your life around.
Yeah,
mate.
exactly.
Come on, mate. No.
You said that you can't do violence because you go back to, but then you find out the reason that he said that he changed his name and that he can't do violence anymore. You find out is because he like beat up another kid. So that was the reason. Like you think that he just beat up a guy maybe in a bar fight or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But he's like he's a horrible person and has been his entire life.
Yeah.
And just the way that they unravel him is just incredible. And also, as I'm watching it, this criminal organization, I'm like, what crimes are these? Because it's so vague, you know? It's like
a lot of passports.
Yeah, I'm like, and just like dropping
envelopes.
Whatever off. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And the point is, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing is made up.
And that, like, Joel Edgerton, like, it's clearly affecting his character's mind.
Yeah, and he's
his
got
relationship
a
with
young
his
kid as well.
And there's a moment where he has to keep embodying this character and keeping this persona, which I guess is sort of becoming his persona. Because once you do something, ironically, it starts to become your real personality.
Backwards.
Bro, or calling people bro. But there's a moment where, like, they're both in the car and they're in a hurry, and so they're going, "Look, come on, move on," and they honking the horn, and then the car in front of them gets into a car accident, and they're just like, "Well, we got to go though, because I'm pretending to be a criminal, and a criminal wouldn't stick around, a cop would stick around."
Yeah, exactly. Awful.
Yeah, and again, it feels like the way the way the police sort of grind somebody down in Australia, which is just them sitting in a room and going, "Come on, mate.
Come on, mate.
Come on,
Come
mate.
on. Do us a
Come
favour.
on, mate.
Just do us a favour.
Come on, mate.
Do us a favour, mate.
Come on, mate.
God damn.
Spooky movies, mate. Come on, mate.
Come on, mate. You know that more than anybody.
Anyway,
Anyway, I hope if you haven't seen it, you didn't listen to this.
Right.
But it's still totally worth watching.
Just so dark and grim as well. Like, nothing happens. Stuff happens in the daytime, but it never seems to happen in the daytime.
And like,
it's all in like dimly lit like motels and
other cops who were supposed to be members of this organization are bad at pretending to be criminals, and you're like, what is this guy doing? Like,
fudging his lines.
Yeah, get it together.
God.
Yeah. And I guess also the guy who did it is not super intelligent because he never seemed to cotton on to any of this. But I guess also just looking for acceptance and looking for a role. But yeah, great movie, horrible story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess, like, because I generally speaking, I'm like, we were talking about this off air. I don't like true crime podcasts or anything like that. I'm like, this is too grisly.
Yeah.
And I guess, look, I guess I'm eating my words. But I guess this isn't, like, we don't see anything happen. We don't see any
and
kids
they don't
being
really
murdered or whatever.
Delve into the, a lot of those things, it's like, and they cut the body up like this.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
And they really kind of revel in it, and it doesn't feel like that.
Well, exactly. This never.
I don't know what the family of the kid thinks of this. Maybe they're like, this is horrendous.
I think they probably do.
Yeah.
I believe they were like, stop. They may have said something along the lines of like, stop telling people this is based on a true story or whatever. Like, don't.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this is like, they don't revel in it in this. It's just like,
yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Should we do Barbarian?
And it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Under the Un Certain Regard section. Wonder what that means.
I don't know.
Probably have a bit of a gander
What
at
do you
this.
think of this?
Yeah, have a bit of a gander, mate.
about this?
Come on, mate.
Have a look.
Un Certain Regard.
Like what you see?
Right? Yeah.
Bit of that.
Wrap your bloody laughing gear around this, they would say. Un Certain Regard is a section of the Cannes Film Festival's official selection. That's it.
Yeah.
The name means a certain glance, and the section presents 20 films with unusual styles and non-traditional stories seeking international recognition.
I wonder how this would have gone at the movies. Not now, not good, but like 10, 15 years ago, I think it could have done all right.
Well, there are limited
you can
screens.
See it. Yeah. But why would you? Because it's on Netflix and it's
That's
free.
true.
Yeah. Anyways, Barbarian, directed by Zach Kreger.
Yeah, who was a former member. I learned this today.
Whitest Kids.
The Whitest Kids You Know,
Yeah.
Check out some Whitest Kids You Know sketches on YouTube if you want.
And check out Mason when he tells us what do you think the story was.
Oh, no, all right. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Don't listen to any of this.
Yep.
Look, this was pitched to me and you and pretty much everybody on Twitter as...
Don't even think about it.
Don't even think about looking anything up. Don't watch any trailers. Don't wiki it or go to IMDb or anything or read Twitter about it. If you see the hashtag Barbarian, don't click on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably true. I think I was probably looking for like... I thought it was going to boggle my mind more than it perhaps did based on that. But I think just the very nature of it, I'm like, you probably shouldn't.
I think there is a point where it turns, and that's like the biggest reveal, really. And once it turns into another thing, then I don't think there's not really. Then it just plays out.
Yeah. Okay. So, but very very short intro if you're still here.
I am.
A woman goes to Detroit. She's there to interview for a job. There's an Airbnb in a very sketchy neighborhood, and she arrives there only to find there's somebody already there.
What I found fascinating about that, and like that it's sketchy. You don't know it's sketchy until like you see it
in daytime,
and then you're like, oh no,
this is
terrible.
The darkness is hiding a bunch of stuff, graffiti and so forth.
Yeah, the band.
Anyway, there's another man there, and it seems to be some sort of double booking. And they're like, okay, we'll just work. We'll come in. We'll work it out in the morning. What's going to happen, bloody? What's going to happen?
Come
on, mate.
Yeah, what's this guy's deal? What's her deal? Is this a coincidence? Is it somebody setting up an elaborate
Barbarian?
But is it a barbarian?
Is it a barbarian situation? Is this the classic barbarian gambit?
Yeah.
Well, the name would certainly suggest that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What does the barbarian refer to? I guess we'll talk about it in spoilers, Mason. Yeah, but this actually started. He wrote it
when Uncle Fester farted.
Very good. He started as and Halloween appropriate.
Yes.
Also, where Zach Krieger wrote. He wanted to write a scene where a woman is basically presented with a whole lot of red flags, and then keeps pushing through. Because I think a lot of people, and in particular women, though not exclusively, but mostly women, Mason, is they're kind of taught to ignore red flags and be nice and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, what's the book called about the fear-based book? Where it's called like this, something like this. Hang on.
The Necronomicon?
No.
That's a fear-based book, I feel.
What's this called? Hang on. The Gift of Fear.
Oh.
And it's basically about how, listen to that animal part of your brain. Because it normally knows, when you see somebody approaching you and you're like, and you don't know why, but you're like, I don't feel good about this, and you might take a different direction and whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's basically listening to that part of your brain. But I think people are conditioned, women in particular, they're told to be more trusting and be nice. And if a weird person comes up to you, just be nice and whatever, where you can really just be, hey, no, I'm not going to do this.
I was listening to a podcast. I was just trying to place it, but I was listening to a podcast this week. It's called Being Hot is Hard. It's from Sanspants.
Oh, yeah,
and it's Cass Page.
What
and
a trio,
Nina
Mason.
Oyama and Zoe B. And Zoe B was talking about in the most recent episode I listened to about how she stopped laughing at people's jokes if they're not funny.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of ingrained into women, especially, who out of politeness, if a man tells you a joke, you go, even if it's not. Yeah. And apparently it boggles people's minds. So she was telling her mom, I'm not going to laugh at something unless it's fun. And then the dad made a joke that wasn't funny. She's like, I'm not going to. And the dad was like, that's very confronting, actually. That you
do that now.
And that, good call.
Yeah, get funnier.
Get funnier, people making jokes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, I think the casting's good for reasons we'll get into in spoilers, I think. It's quite a small cast. It's funny. This movie's funny. Which I didn't expect going in. I thought this was going to be very dry, probably.
And there's a lot of hey, don't do that.
Sure.
Hey, stop. Just don't.
Yes.
There's a lot of that. But I think it masks a lot of that well, of why your phone doesn't work, why you would go a certain direction, why somebody wouldn't believe you for a certain thing and whatever. But apparently, though, after writing...
But some of that is very realistic. I think the interaction with the police...
Yeah, absolutely.
In this movie is okay.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But I think, apparently with this one scene, though, he was frustrated by, the predictability of it, so decided to, flip it into something else. And you definitely see that in this movie. I just think, this kind of the slow escalation of what is happening, the tension builds, and there is what is not even so much what is going on. It's more where is this going?
Yeah, right.
And you can't really see it until it happens. Because Anyway, spoilers, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to say best movie ever, of course. It's on. I believe it's on streaming on HBO Max in the US.
Yeah, on Australia, it's
and in cinemas
everywhere and whatever as
yeah,
well.
Yeah. Betamax.
Yeah, it's on a Betamax. Anyway, the twist is, so the story is a woman turns up the Airbnb as mentioned.
And Bill Skarsgård's there, and you're like, that's Pennywise
that's
the clown.
That's the guy from the Clown. He's
this
the
guy
clown.
This guy could be a psychopath.
Yeah.
And
it seems like all these stories are really convenient.
Yeah.
Of you work for this, or you're interviewing about this. Well, I actually work for this. And I'm like, that's bullshit, obviously.
Right.
Anyway, she finds out.
He could be a psychopath at any moment.
Yeah.
Up until his head is bashed into a wall. over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like every single moment where he's like, just stay, just have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Just do this. Oh,
Why don't you take the bed and I'll stay out here.
I'm making noises over here on the couch.
Yeah.
You should approach me kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then it's like, is there something in the basement? That sounds.
Why don't you come down with me and check it out and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think that he's like luring her into some kind
Even
of trap.
at the moment where he's like, he's screaming and panicking. He's
Yeah.
like, you can't go back that way. We have to go a different
Yeah.
way. I'm like, no, don't do that. This is still a trick, I think.
Yeah. And then inbred ghoul of a woman just jumps out of the shadows
Yeah.
and smashes his head in.
She is sick to death of laughing at men's jokes when they're not funny. And
Seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out we see a little flashback.
Yep.
From the 80s, I guess.
Yeah, from the early 80s.
Where it turns out a man was abducting women.
Yep.
And producing children.
Yep.
And then
And murdering.
doing lots of
murdering
murders and has produced ultimately this Barbarian, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
He's the barbarian?
Maybe he's the Barbarian.
And
maybe
so-
Justin Long is the Barbarian.
Well, that's true, exactly. And so he's 40. So the woman is 40 years old, but just her mind has been. She's been living underground.
I
under
actually
this
think
house.
she looks great for 40 years old.
I don't know if she does, Mason. I don't want to shame anybody.
No,
but-
she looks. In fact, I think she looks great without makeup. Honestly,
Well, that's a different
and I
conversation.
don't want my illusion shattered. Okay.
So her father's still alive, but clearly riddled with cancer or something. So
Yeah.
he's also living under there.
And a bad vibe.
And a bad vibe. He's got a big bad vibe. And so she is capturing people and trying to be a mother to them. She's got this breastfeeding tape on repeat.
yeah.
So that's what she's doing to the people who she captures.
Uh-huh.
But after Bill Skarsgård, if it is
He's obliterated.
is obliterated, it cuts to Hollywood.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's probably 40, 50 minutes in.
I think I mentioned this to you, but I nearly got spoiled for this movie.
That trailer.
Because there was a Barbarian trailer, and I watched like 10 seconds, and I'm like, nope, shouldn't do it. I won't watch it.
Yeah.
And then I saw another trailer like a few days later that was like Justin Long's new movie. And it's just a thumbnail of him driving the Pacific Coast Highway or whatever in his little sports car. And I clicked that and I'm like, oh, I love Justin Long. This is great. He was a Mac. Remember?
Oh, the Mac guy.
Yeah.
He was
and then
in
I'm like,
Ed.
oh, this is Barbarian again. These sons of bitches. And I stopped it again. But yeah, so we cut to Justin Long and he's a sitcom star.
Yeah.
And he gets dumped from
a pilot.
From a pilot because of assault allegations.
Yes.
Which are true.
Which are true, it seems.
And then he decides in order to make some money,
and survive the court case, the
Yeah.
looming court case.
he's going to have to
clear his name, his good name.
Yeah, he's going to have to liquidate some of his incredible Airbnb properties, including the one in. That being the question though,
Yeah.
who set up the Airbnb bookings?
Well, the company can do it.
I know, but who did it though? Like who?
Like who? What do you
Because
mean?
when Justin Long's character speaks to his various managers, they're like, there wasn't any bookings, so somebody must have set them up.
Maybe they did. Maybe the guy under the house had
Maybe
an
the guy under
iPhone.
the maybe he had an iPhone.
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay, right. Somebody will know. Somebody will know. Someone who paid more attention.
Yeah, but I mean, because also normally enough in Airbnb, even if it's completely out of your hands, they organise the cleaning and all that, and that hadn't happened.
Yeah, right.
So I just assumed that they thought the person was still there because the money was still coming out.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. There's probably a better answer that I missed. So yeah, so he realizes he needs to sell this place, and then you're like, oh, okay, so that's how it's connected. So he goes to this house, and everything is left exactly as it was. The chair propping open the basement door,
Yeah.
and just the levels of that basement is just like, there's the basement, and you're like, this is an awful place.
Yes.
And then there's a secret door and a corridor, and you're like, this is awful.
There's
And at the
another
end of
secret
that,
door.
there's a room with a VHS camera and an old dirty mattress, and you're like, oh, this is no good. And then there's another door that leads it underground and goes for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Where the ghoul woman
And
lives.
the corpses and the what have
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And she's clearly coming up out of the house and out of there and like looking around when people are staying there.
And the bit where Justin Long encounters the first bit of basement with the dirty mattress and a VHS, and then it immediately cuts to him upstairs on his Mac going like,
I'm a Mac guy.
yeah, I'm a Mac guy, but then he's just like, okay, can I get more money out of this if there's more square footage? Do underground basements count as square footage in this? And I'm like,
and then he's just measuring
great.
up. And then when he finds the big underground corridor,
Tape measures
he's like,
out
even
again.
better.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
And then he eventually comes across the spooky ghoul woman. And then their worlds collide because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Justin Long and the woman. What's her name again? Who plays?
Great question, James. We're bad with names.
I know.
Is it Sean Harris?
It's Georgia Campbell. I think she's in the Black Mirror episode about the dating and whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got a logo. Unless she's not in that, but I'm pretty sure that she is.
Okay, great. Yeah, she's in Hang
Hang
the DJ. Yeah, great.
It's a good episode. Great stuff. So, yeah, and you also, they nearly redeem him. There's a moment where, like, he shot her at one point and he's kind of doing cowardly acts, but he realizes what the old man in there is doing and what he has been doing, and he's like, you're a monster, and how could you do this? And there's a moment of self-reflection where he's like, you know what? I did this terrible thing, and I'm going to own up to it. I'm going to turn my life around. And then it just kind of, and then when push comes to shove,
Push becomes a shove, yeah,
it just comes apart. Like you think maybe for a second he's going to, he's going to make some effort.
Become a hero.
Yeah, but no, he doesn't, which I liked also because some people just, I don't know how I'd react. Maybe I'd completely crumble also in this scenario.
I'd simply defeat the woman, I think.
Yeah? What would you do? Probably a hammer or a rock?
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe even just my bare hands, I reckon. Yeah, and then I would probably contact Airbnb and get a full refund.
You'd have to.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But you talked about...
And maybe a credit in my account so I could go somewhere else. For free.
You talked about that bit where... Because she gets out.
Yes.
And Justin Long's still trapped, and so she's trying to figure out how to...
I'm going to let the dog in.
Yeah, let the dog in. She wants to go back in to get him, so she goes, finds the police officers, but she's been living underground for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And she looks terrible, and it's in a terrible neighborhood, and they just assume she's just some kind of drug addict or whatever, or she's lying.
She's not worth their time.
Yeah, exactly. And as a result, she's kind of drawn back into the house to save the Justin Long character. And I thought all that was... Because once she's out, you're like, oh, great. Yeah. Now something else can happen.
Yeah, because there's a homeless man who earlier in the movie, like, runs at her as she's about to go into the house, and you think he's you're like, okay, well, maybe he's... something to do with whatever is happening in this awful neighborhood. But no, he's trying to warn her because he's seen this.
He's seen her, this woman.
And his reward, he gets his arm torn off and gets beaten to death with it.
Yes, exactly. And there's a moment also where, Justin Long throws her off like a water tower because the spooky ghoul woman is like attached to her and sees her as a child. So she sacrifices herself, you think, to save her. And then she digs out Justin Long's eyes.
So goopy.
And then splits his head apart. I think they made her too strong.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think there's like a supernatural element to this, which doesn't. I mean, maybe if you live underground and you've been doing all of these things,
there's different gravity underground. So that's probably it.
I don't know. I think she's a bit too like.
Yeah, I understand where you're going with it.
Yeah,
but I guess
it's not a big deal.
I guess we're going with because that's the thing that it turns it from. It never really feels like the real world, but it does turn it from, okay, well, that
just happened.
Yeah, there are horror. We've heard of stories of stuff like this, of like people keeping secret families underground and all that sort of stuff, and it's super weird. But it turns it from like, okay, well, inbreeding you can build a super strong monster.
Yeah,
it kind of makes it. You're right. It becomes sort of supernatural in some way, I guess.
Yeah,
or like junk sciencey, I suppose.
But it's not. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's good.
Yeah.
And you should.
Also, the giant lady would probably have like a vitamin D deficiency because she's only going out at night.
So yeah, well, that's true. She'd never even be looking at the sun.
And she also does survive that being hit with a car.
Yeah.
Through a house.
Yeah. That'll do it. That'll do it, won't it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, 3 good movies, I feel.
3 good movies.
All different. We've picked different movies. We've done it.
We didn't go with Terrifier 2 about the murderous clown.
No.
Very splattery, apparently, and also really long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good then.
That's right.
And we didn't go with Hulu Hellraiser.
We didn't. Maybe I'll talk about that in subsequent
weeks. I do want
weeks
to check
if I
out
watch
Hulu
that.
Hellraiser at some point.
Terrifier 2 is 2.5 hours long.
Well, that's nearly as long as all the Marvel movies.
Right? Yeah. Put together.
Should we move on, Mason?
Yes.
Well, if you had to pick one, what would you pick?
I could only watch. I don't know if I want to watch any of them again.
No, I think
for me it's between Barbarian and The Stranger.
Same.
I think,
and they bring you completely different things.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, not that body.
No, I liked it a lot.
Not that but it was bad. I thought I don't know. It's just
sick of social media.
Maybe. I mean, maybe by the nature of the fact that all the characters in that are horrible.
Yeah,
and in the other. I guess everybody's horrible in The Stranger as well. But not everybody's horrible in Barbarian. There's one person who's not horrible.
That's true.
There's two people who are not horrible.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe Bill Skarsgård character is awful. Like, you don't know. Like,
We don't know anything about
maybe
him,
he
really.
was a creep.
Yeah.
And he was
maybe
waiting
he
for
did.
his...
Maybe he did set it up.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe that's why they didn't
Yeah.
know, because he
Maybe he was like, yeah, great, I'm going to do some really bad stuff.
secret house and whatever.
And then he just happened to be in a pre-built murder house already. So
yeah, that'll get you.
yeah.
All right, cool, Mason.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Let's move on.
Do you have any idea what we're doing?
In life? No.
But
But
for
on
the
this podcast,
next segment, for
I can
example.
say confidently
Yep.
what we're going to read.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? What have you been doing?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been pretty busy watching a billion trillion horror movies.
it's true.
Gosh, you know what I've been watching a lot
I
of?
don't actually.
And we
That's
mentioned
what
it.
this segment is about me and other people finding out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You interrogating me about
Yeah,
my
man.
secrets.
What do you know? What
I know
have you been
heaps,
doing?
actually. I know heaps, actually.
Yeah.
I reckon I know heaps more than you.
That
quite
sounds like
frankly.
a guy who doesn't know heaps.
No, I know heaps. Ask me about anything.
I'm reading a book a day. You know those
Yeah,
guys?
those people,
I
yeah.
get up and I read a book a day.
I'm using that. I've learned a method where I skim and I don't actually retain any of that information. But I've convinced myself that
Yeah.
it counts as reading.
It's all economics, isn't it?
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
you read in economics
That's
books.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm learning about supply and demand.
Are you really?
I'm learning about inflation.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't raise anybody's wages because then prices will go up.
That's a great point.
And some might say that prices are going up anyway.
Yeah, but imagine if you raise the wages.
Imagine though. Can you imagine?
I can't.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get a Pizza Hut. It would be too
You
expensive.
couldn't even get a Pizza Hut.
The franchise.
You couldn't even buy a Pizza Hut franchise. Your dad couldn't even buy you a Pizza Hut franchise.
My dad would love to buy me a Pizza Hut, but in this economy, forget about it. I have to do this.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you
Also, it's not even worth buying a Pizza Hut franchise these days because they don't look like Pizza Huts anymore.
Nah.
We used to have real Pizza Huts in this country, James, with that weird roof.
We used to build things.
Yeah.
Pizza Huts.
Now they're all
specifically.
$2 shops or something.
I hate it.
No good.
Pizza. It doesn't look like a hut.
Right?
It's like a hole in the wall.
Pizza hole in the wall. No, thank you. I don't know what I'm getting out of
Put your
that.
arm in here and
I won't.
maybe grab a pizza.
No.
Maybe get bitten by a rabid dog.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't trust a pizza glory hole. No, no sir. No, sir. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah.
What have you been doing?
I've been doing a few things. I've been reading, as I mentioned. I've been listening, as I mentioned, to the podcast "Being Hot is Hard," which I think
Yes.
is very, very good and entertaining. And it's like a world that I'm completely unfamiliar with because it's
Yeah.
about. I think there's value in it for blokes to
Sure.
listen about it. It's about like beauty and the beauty industry and all that sort of stuff, and you know,
I haven't listened to it, but I have downloaded episodes. So
the amount of work that goes into being hot, as we would well know.
I'm well aware,
right?
Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All our moisturizers and so forth.
You got to
That's
moisturize.
interesting.
And make sure you got an SPF in your moisturizer as
Yeah.
well, you know?
I mentioned this on our Jason X commentary, but
Oh, yeah.
I have been going through a bunch of Matt McMuscle's videos on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He does
yeah.
a series, as I think we mentioned, called What Happened,
Yeah.
where he talks about various video games and movies that were disasters, and he does sort of a historical deep dive on why that happened.
He certainly does,
They're
Mason.
very fun, I think.
And in addition to that, if you love that, we've
Yes.
got our commentary at bigsandwich.co. But also this week, the book club is on Something is Killing the Children,
Oh, yeah.
which is a horror comic.
That's right.
So you can check that out if you want.
Because it's the spookiest time of year, which, as I understand, you were talking about tax time.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
That's
in
great.
relation to, yeah.
So this week it's and I've got it ready to go here on What Happened. It's Dante's Inferno.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that
Yeah,
thumbnail.
so that's
yeah, you
exciting.
can check that out. The God of War knockoff that actually might be quite good.
Yeah.
Which I think for like 3 years I was like, should I get this?
Should I get it?
There's a PSP version.
Should I get it?
Should I get this one?
Should I get it?
Anyway, I didn't get it. I never got it.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wow.
Well, while you've been doing all that, Mason.
Yeah, what have you been doing?
I've been watching 6 episodes of the latest Star Wars Tales of the Jedi animated series.
Tell me about it.
So there's 3 episodes focusing
Tell
on...
me about it, stud.
There's 3 episodes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Focusing on Count Dooku.
That's always locked and loaded for me, by the way.
You've got to be careful who you use that on as well.
No, indiscriminate.
There's 3 episodes that focus on young-ish Dooku.
Yep.
And 3 on Ahsoka. Now, it does do some, like, filling the gaps.
Hello, I'm youngish Dooku.
Yeah. Well, so it does, you see, like...
Are they contemporaries then? Like, do they exist in the same time period? roughly?
Yes, but I don't think they have much to do with each other. Yes, because she's in Clone Wars.
She's in
and
Clone Wars, of
whatever.
course, and
but I don't
Anakin
think
and
they
Dooku,
have...
right.
I'm sure they've interacted, but no, they don't have that much to do with each other. But there's a lineage there because He trained Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon trained Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan trained Anakin, Anakin trained Ahsoka.
That's true.
And a lot of those people in that lineage are terrible.
That's very true.
So you find out kind of why Dooku is the way that he is. Like he was kind of like a Qui-Gon-ish guy. Like he's seeing like bad stuff happening in the Republic and he's like, we should do this, something. And the Jedi Council are like, we're going to promote Mace Windu because he listened to us.
Wow.
And he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Is it because I have a red lightsaber? Come on.
Is it because I look like a Dracula?
Yeah.
Fuck you. But young...
Sorry I don't look good in off-white and beige.
young
dogs.
Qui-Gon is played by... Well, Liam Neeson is in it as regular age Qui-Gon.
And is this his son?
Young Qui-Gon is played by Liam Neeson's son.
Okay.
One of them is set during the Phantom Menace. So there's the moment where Dooku like finds out that there's the Phantom Menace.
Right.
And
Who was?
it was Darth Maul.
Okay.
And so...
Still not clear. I'll forget about next week also.
We've talked about this, when we did the prequels for Caravan of Garbage, but the council don't believe him. So he's like, you can go sort it out, go fight that war or whatever. And then afterwards they're like, actually, we think just between all us, I think that was a Sith Lord. I think he was right. That guy that killed him. So Dooku's mad about that. But Dooku also knows because he's already in league with Palpatine at this point.
Right, okay.
So that leads into a Yaddle episode where we find out basically what happens to Yaddle.
And I think perhaps more importantly, and I know this without watching this,
Yeah.
it turns out what we do learn, the biggest takeaway from this is that Yaddle talks normally, right?
Yes.
So it turns
and he's
out
Bryce Dallas Howard.
So it turns out that Yoda's just a freak.
Yeah.
But what I did read is apparently the Knights of the Old Republic talked like
May
that.
have talked this way, yeah.
Which is why he talks like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hate it.
Yeah, I hate it also.
Yeah. But anyway, it turns out that Yaddle is not as skilled as Yoda, it turns out. But like Ian McDiarmid is back. I think the Ahsoka stuff is good, but I think the Dooku stuff is better.
Right.
Also, there's a moment where Ahsoka was tracked down by an Inquisitor.
Okay.
And that's quite a good battle.
Yep.
And to spoil it, I'm just going to spoil this particular
Terrific.
bit.
That's okay. That's okay with me.
Yeah. The one episode I didn't love was the baby Ahsoka one. You find out when she's a baby and she gets taken by a saber-toothed tiger and then she uses the Force and brings her back to a village or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Which is all fine. But there's a moment, so the Inquisitor finds her. She doesn't have her lightsabers. And the Inquisitor's like, now I'm going to get a...
Yeah.
People are going to love me for this.
You're only strong with 2 lightsabers.
Yeah.
You haven't got any lightsabers.
She had no lightsabers. And then tries to hack her down and she just wrecks him in 5 seconds and just kills this guy. Just just barehanded.
Nice.
Well, no, because she gets the lightsaber off him.
Oh, yeah, cool, nice.
But it's great. It's really good.
Okay.
Now
I was under the impression that people were mad, but I guess this is a Star Wars
I
property.
think that's people might be mad because it maybe steps on some of the books or something.
Oh, I see. Right.
But honestly, I thought it was really good.
So, and when you say steps on the books, you mean some of the ones that are currently in canon?
Yes.
Right.
There's an
okay.
Ahsoka book which apparently has a very similar story how she's tracked down by one.
Oh, I see, right.
And it's like the Saber's this,
Right.
except everybody's called a different
Hey,
thing.
guess what? It's Legends.
Yeah.
So maybe that happened. Maybe it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Don't worry
that's
about
right.
it. Don't even worry
Anyway,
about it.
people are probably mad about this, but I think it's good.
Remember that guy Sleaze Bagano?
Yeah. He's a
Sold the
strange
death
guy.
sticks?
He's got the little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are we getting tales of Sleaze
Tales
Bagano?
of just him living a normal life because he hopefully cleaned himself up.
Well, didn't he get
got mind
he got
control.
mind
I reckon
tricked?
that worn off as soon as he walked outside. I think he'd take a cold shower, that would, would disappear.
Well, I stopped selling death sticks, but I had to move on to space heroin. Just had to fill the void somehow.
got it, don't ya?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you like Star Wars, Mason, and I know
do
you
like
do,
Star Wars.
and you like the character of Yaddle,
Oh, also, and I don't think this is out yet, but I was a guest on Do Go On. They're currently going through Blocktober and Blowvember,
Yeah.
which is, of course, the
they've expanded it.
That's right. They have expanded it massively for the their
Biggest
most
studio, so it makes
yeah,
sense.
that's true. Their biggest and most requested topics. So I was on an
All serial killers.
That's right. Serial killers and breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
Have they done Kellogg's? I wonder if they have. But I believe that'll be out in a couple of weeks. So
Great, terrific.
Everyone should check that.
They know what they're doing. And
They
Matt
know
Stewart's comedy special is up now as well.
That's right.
The stupid old YouTube channel. That's exciting. That's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Mason, let's move it along.
Okay.
But to what?
Letters.
Yeah, let's do it.
Letters theme.
The classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. I know they're here right now. We're going to do letters.
Mason,
Go on.
how you reach the show is by hashtagging #Weekly Planet Pod.
That's
Not
right.
hashtagging hashtag, just hashtag Weekly Planet Pod.
Yes.
I will find your tweets, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I do run a search every week.
Yeah.
Sometimes people tweet me directly. or you
That's
directly,
right.
and I'm like, oh, I'll bring that up, and then I forget.
Whoa.
But that way I'll most likely see it, hopefully.
Nice.
Or weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com.
That's
Do you want to
right.
hit the thing first? Hit
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. This is from Ethan Huggins. Great name.
Ooh.
Hi, James and Mesa. I've been listening to the pod for about 7 years now, almost weekly without fail.
Ah.
I'm an aspiring writer and comedian in Tampa, Florida, and I'm currently writing a new set. And I was wondering what some of your favorite Aussie insults are. Don't worry, the person I'm writing about absolutely deserves them. Love the show and keep operating at 40%. Thanks, Ethan.
Is he going to talk about us, though? Is he just going to
Oh, you think so? You reckon
fire
this-
back an email with all our insults?
Wow, you reckon this is a 5-minute set about us?
And your kids don't even love you.
Oh, I love, look, and again, I wouldn't use this in anger.
Sure.
But it's always locked and loaded. I love Face Like a Bashed Crab.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one, right?
I like cunning as a shithouse rat.
good.
It's not really an insult. It kind of is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Drongo's good.
Yeah.
Just straight up, fuck you is great.
That's
I know
not
that's not.
Australian,
I
though.
know it's not.
Yeah,
Or fuck you, fuck off is great.
that's true. I believe. I
I
feel,
know it's not Australian.
Yeah. We didn't invent it, but we perfected it,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Are you looking up a list of
I'll do
Australian
it now,
insults?
yeah.
Wow, that's un-Australian, quite frankly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, who doesn't like bugger off?
Sure, okay.
That's one.
Rack off. of
Rack
course.
off is, swear like an Australian. I don't want just swearing. I want
Yeah.
specifically insults.
Insults, yeah.
Get stuffed.
No, it's yeah, great.
Bugger off. Yeah, they've got go fuck yourself here. That's not Australian,
I don't
surely.
think we invented that. No.
Struth, not an insult. Apparently dads is an insult, which is dumb as a dog.
No, that's made up.
I've never heard that one.
See, the thing about a lot of Australian sayings and insults, I feel, is that some of them have evolved culturally,
Yeah.
and some are invented for like ads and stuff.
Absolutely. A fuckwit, that's Australian.
That's very good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
This one, wanker, that's British as well. I don't know if I don't know if we can claim that one. Darrow. is
Sure,
apparently
yeah.
one that's on the list.
Yeah.
Drongo, bogan. Bogan can be an insult.
Darrow.
Slag or slagger, I guess.
No, that's British.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the ones I've got here. If
Okay,
you've got
well.
any more here. Yeah, so there you go.
Email them in. Email your favourite Australian
Not at
insults.
us, please. We can't
No,
take
no,
it.
at us. Say you are and then put them in there.
A wombat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead shit, did I say that?
No, that's a good one, though.
I don't know if it's Australian.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think that is, no, that's Australian.
Great.
Yeah. That's a very good one.
And I got a tweet here from Oh Danny Boy, the frights.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod. Gun to your head, gun to your balls. Would you rather spend the rest of your life in New Zealand or
Yes.
spend the rest of your life with the DCEU? It's now
New Zealand.
DCU. Yeah. As one of the only comic book movie franchises currently in production.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah, probably. I like New Zealand. It's
I like
very
New
nice.
Zealand, yeah.
And it's not that far for us. It's like a
It's
4-hour
true.
flight. So
Yeah.
not a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. The DCE, you're always getting shot at with lasers and stuff.
I don't have to there's always local characters and you gotta interact and I don't have to do any of that. I'd have to there'd be more local characters over there, I assume though, right? That I'd have to interact with.
Yeah, there used to be a wizard, I think.
A wizard.
Yeah.
I'd hit him.
You'd hit him?
Oh,
Yeah, he's fine. Give him a...
I'll drop him one punch, mate.
Yeah, wow.
One punch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, new wizard in town.
Yeah.
James, after I've punched you, mate. You drongo. You wouldn't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Look, I'd rather live where I currently live, but yeah. Look,
Well, that's not an option.
No, look, realistically, I'd actually
Your house is getting demolished. as
I'd
we
probably
do this.
just do the DC thing.
Oh, yeah?
Because then I wouldn't have to move.
Okay. See, the
Would
thing
people know that it was me? People are out the front going, boo, move to New Zealand.
Maybe.
We want to see a Bloodshot sequel. Yeah. I
Maybe.
don't know. Anyway, what else you got?
It's from Megan.
Let's
or
do
perhaps
it.
Megan.
Ooh.
She says,
Maybe it's Mithrigan.
maybe it might be Mithrigan. I'm engaged, bitches.
Yeah.
Hello, boys. I was hoping you'd be so kind as to shout out my fiance, Matt. On October 14th, he proposed 4 days before our 10-year anniversary. It was the easiest question.
But it took him long enough.
Yeah, you get less for murder.
That's true.
It's the easiest question I've ever answered. He is the most amazing person on the planet. We've both been fans of you boys for nearly a decade, and I think he would be delighted to receive a shout-out. Again, I'm shouting out my fiance, Matt. He's a gift to the world and he deserves the world, but a simple shout-out will suffice.
That's all we can
Sincerely,
offer.
Megan.
Terrific.
I'm going to say Megan.
I'm going to say Mithrigan, like the killer robots.
Nice, that's terrific.
Yeah.
If you could put us in your vows, that would be great.
That would be great.
I mean, nothing about this says that they met via the podcast or anything like that.
How else would they have met, though?
Well, I mean, how does anyone meet anybody? You know? So
Dunno.
must be through the podcast.
Dunno, Mason.
Yeah. Probably shared some earbuds.
Oh, that's a fun thing to do, isn't it? Now you can do it from a distance if you're using like a...
Yeah, you can just fling one at somebody.
Yeah, catch this. And maybe it goes in a soup and you're like, oh, I have to get another set of that.
So true.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really relatable content we're doing here. Mm-hmm. Mason, I've got a tweet here from Nathan who says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. Did James ever actually play the Order 1886 before dismissing it as the worst game ever and shoving it into a big bin? I really like that game. No, I haven't. I have never played. I just dismissed it. Yeah.
You chucked it into a big bin?
I think it does have its fans and followings, but isn't it mostly cinematics? It's a lot of cinematics and it's very short and then it ends abruptly.
Oh,
that's why I put it in a big bin.
Maybe you probably put it in a big bin.
There you go. Anyway, it came with my PS4 and I was like, fine. And then I never played it. Anyway, what's next, Mason? I'm sorry.
My sister was in Black Adam.
Black Adam?
Hey, no.
What season?
Season 4, the one in the World War One.
Oh, that's pretty grim.
Yep.
It's a good season.
I liked it, yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't like Black Adam Back Through Time or whatever as much.
No.
It's a weird one.
I also don't like season 1.
Because
they haven't established his personality yet.
It's like a horrible little grub.
Yeah, he's a grub. They switched Blackadder and Baldrick's personalities after season 1, and I think it works way better.
I agree.
Yeah, I started season 2, I reckon.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
French Revolution?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, go
on. Wrong. That's not what we're talking about. Black Adam.
Oh, my God.
You're familiar with Black Adam. You've
seen it. Of
course,
Mason. It's the biggest movie in the world.
You gave it best movie ever.
Did I?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, James and Mason, I've been an avid listener from the early days, and I wanted to share with you something exciting that happened to my older sister. She got to play one of the Shazam wizards in Black Adam.
That's cool.
Santa Erica is her name. I believe she has a unibrow in the movie.
Sick.
Acting as a tough career, she's really stuck with it despite setbacks and roll droughts. Thanks for the long-term parasocial relationship, John. Do we know anybody who's been in the movies?
The movies? Yeah, I think so. I can't remember specifically who.
Yeah.
But yes. Do you mean people who have emailed in or people we know in real
people we
life?
know personally. Yeah, but not famous, not pre-famous people. Sure. Not people who are already comedians.
Yeah.
I bet we do.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No.
Off the top of my head.
No.
This has been great, though.
I think it's been
great to think about it.
It's good
Maybe we should do an episode on people we know who have been in movies.
We just we give them their full name, their address.
My brother's been in a movie, a real movie, an Australian movie, the one you don't like. I'll tell you after.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'll tell you after.
Okay, right.
In case people find him and beat him up.
He's also been in a bunch of weird student films.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Some great stuff there.
Which we will do as part of Caravan of Garbage. We'll make fun of some movies a bunch of 15-year-olds made.
From 2004 or whatever.
2004,
yeah. Anyways, what else you got? Or is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Joshua says, #WeeklyPlanetPod. How about a new segment on the show after the Pinocchio fiasco where only Mason has to watch a bad movie and talk about it on the pod? We watch a lot of bad movies already.
That's true.
But would you be open to that, Mason, watching a new Pinocchio every week?
Oh,
not necessarily Pinocchio. But
I see, right. And I watch it and you don't watch it?
Me. Maybe I tell you I'm going to watch it every week, but I never do.
See, the thing about that is that's a lot of grinding for a very short segment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If we were going to do it, we'd have to make it bigger content, wouldn't we?
That's true.
Yeah. But look, I'm all for the idea of you doing extra work.
Yeah.
And me not doing anything. So if you ever change your mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like often you'll watch a thing and come in and go, I didn't like it. I watched it and I didn't like it.
Very true.
Yeah.
This is from Matthew.
Matthew!
From Ireland.
Oh my God.
Big fan of the pod on the YouTube. Hope you had a good Halloween.
Yeah, we did.
It was fine.
Actually, we haven't had it yet.
Oh yeah, it hasn't actually happened.
Yeah,
yet.
It's when this
something
goes out.
spooky might happen in the interim. So
Can't wait.
Interesting. If you're looking for a weird, odd Irish comedy horror, I'd recommend Extraordinary.
I wasn't.
2019, also featuring Australia's own Claudia O'Doherty.
Oh.
Anyway, I've just seen The Banshees of Inisherin, which is recently released, and I was wondering if you could give it a review. It's not out yet.
I would love to
It's
watch
not out till
that.
Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Extraordinary. Oh, this does look good.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to check this out.
Oh, yeah?
I like this a lot. I like the cast too. Oh,
Cool.
Will Forte's in it, yeah. Great.
That is great.
But anyway, you're saying The Banshees, what?
Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes.
Yeah, not out till
I have no idea even what it's about.
Well, I can tell you.
Yeah, don't.
I'm not going to.
But I love In Bruges.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Especially because, I don't know if you know this, Mason, but I'd actually been to Bruges around the time that I saw the movie In Bruges. So for me, I felt just like the character of Colin Farrell from In Bruges, except for the bit where he shot a kid. I haven't done that.
So you also shot a kid, but you felt
I
differently.
felt nothing.
Okay, wow.
I guess I didn't have Brendan Gleeson and make me feel bad about it.
That's
or
true.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I got away with it.
Mr. Guilt Trip, Brendan Gleeson.
That's a fucking good movie, though. Love it. Anything else?
Have you seen? It's on Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
It's called Mr. Mercedes, and it's Brendan Gleeson.
That's good,
it's
isn't
a
it?
detective show. I don't know. It's on
I
here,
think it's
and I'm
good, but it's one of those ones where it's like 4 years old and there's 2 seasons, and it's like, is this good? But
2019, 3 seasons. He's haunted. He's a retired detective who's haunted. He hunts for the merciless killer who intentionally drove his car into a crowd of people.
Oh,
You get
my
3
God.
seasons out of that?
I guess. I mean, yes.
Wow.
They did.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool. All right, should we leave it there?
Yes.
Let's go.
Folks, let's go to the end. Last bit of energy.
Woo!
We started early, but it still seems late.
It's
You
so
notice
dark,
that?
yeah.
It's very dark.
It's 20 past 8.
Do you think it's because of the spooky season?
Yeah, all the ghosts and ghouls and goblins and slightly different coloured goblins.
Very true.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you so much for listening. We very much appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing on your podcast platform of choice. Thank you for telling your friends about it, because that's how we get new listeners.
That's right.
Thank you for leaving a 5-star review. That is also how we get new listeners, apparently.
Agreed.
Because some people go, not bloody listening to this. Is only good 4.5 stars. No, thank
1.5
you.
stars, mate, exactly. But I'm getting some 5-star reviews here, which people have done in-app, and maybe you'll get yours read out on the show, just like Noah Roscoe, who says, James and Mason are a friggin' dynamic duo. I find myself laughing
All right, first of all, language.
loud in some of the most ridiculous stuff. They spin on the world of comic book and movies is very refreshing. I really appreciate the way they don't take themselves too seriously, but still provide a banging podcast.
Banging.
And this one's from I Love Lunacy, who says 5 stars or whatever. 2 mates talk about the things I like. They shoot Red Up news up my butthole. A couple of Australian guys that act like they're rebels doing rebel crimes, but really are just cops. Excellent pod, 5 stars.
That's Australia, baby.
That's Australia. Put on some different pants and enjoy. Thank
That's
you
a
so
reference.
much. That certainly is. All of those references.
Folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group. You can go to the Weekly Planet Pod subreddit and Discord if you want to follow various people that have stuff to do with this show. Yes, Disco, James. You can go to. You can also go to the Disco or the Roller Disco if you wish.
Yeah, that's true.
You can follow me. I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and Nick Maso on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere. But if you want to follow the real beating heart, the engine of the podcast, you can follow our friend Rob Collings, who edits this podcast and videos and all sorts of stuff and handles the social media. He's at Rob Collings on Twitter. He's at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. Also, thank you all the mods at the Blood and the admins at the bloody all the various social places.
TikTok you're talking about.
TikTok.
The Weekly Planet Clips channel.
YouTube Shorts. That's the next big thing.
Facebook
YouTube Shorts. You know?
Yeah.
Just reacting to things.
Wow.
We should eat hot peppers and react to it.
We'll be like, what?
Right?
Just do what?
Yeah.
Let's do what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Anyway, go on.
If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. Chuck in a buck or an amount you would not miss. You can also go to bigsandwich.co. Sign up for $9 per month. You get bonus podcasts, movie commentaries, early videos, ad-free podcast feed.
Yes.
As we mentioned, all sorts of spooky stuff this month because we've got a spooky comic book review of Something is Killing the Children and a movie commentary of Jason X
That's
and
right.
other things.
And other things.
And clickbait, making fun of clickbait.
Huge back catalogue.
That is timeless.
That's
and a
right.
big time backlog. Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Arachnum for all our musical themes. If you want a t-shirt, you go to tpublic.com, search for The Weekly Planet. Get a t-shirt.
How much is it?
$1,000.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to, yeah. It's fine.
That's right. Or we're going to sell one, James, and then
That's
we're
right.
rich.
Then we're rich. Then we can quit.
Yeah, that's right. We'll quit. That's $500 each.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad. We got to give some to Collins though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And probably Redbubble will take 80%.
Yeah. And then there's the tax man to think about. Right?
Try not to, but it is the spookiest time.
Yeah, that's right.
This
They
felt like
take more. They take more in October. I don't know if you know
This
that.
spooky season seemed to go very quick. Is that just me?
No, it did. You're right.
Yeah. Terrific. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that jammy, guys. We will see you next week.
Goodbye. Bye.